2 hours to go on a Monday afternoon here as we, back to the upside. What sell-off? Still some room to go as far as what happened on Friday, but retracing a significant amount of it right now is the overall market and individual names. So we'll touch on a couple here. That's a dollar, meanwhile, kind of hanging out, really not doing much. We tested higher, we tested lower. Now it's just kind of chopping around, but still holding on to some significant levels from back on Friday. I wanted to show Nvidia here. We'll touch on it in detail coming up as far as why we're getting this move. But remember, this was down 10% plus on Friday. So yeah, we're retracing 4.2 of that, but still a long way to go as far as the significance of what happened back on Friday. Overall, the market 1.2% for the NASDAQ, 1.2%. For the S&P, there's 1.25 right now. Just took out day highs, bit of a retracement. A few things standing out to the downside here still. Yep, Tesla down again, 3%. Verizon on a headline today as well, down 3.4%. I saw UNH. Everything else, though, a really, really good day for the overall market. Nice bounce back for the banks leading once again. Remember, we were saying that if we didn't have some strength from the banks on Friday, that would have been a much worse day for the overall market. 4.25 here for Nvidia, back higher. We'll touch on it again coming up. But all the chips higher, Apple higher, Google, Microsoft, Meta, going into what's going to be a very important week for big tech with earnings to come. That's a 15-minute chart. You get the picture here. It's been nothing but upside, 2-month low. We started the day at after Friday's debacle and sell-off. But yeah, it's about tech once again, and Nvidia with the most prominent move here within that. But as I was mentioning, 4.2%, it's a great day, obviously, but when you're down 10 the prior day, barely 50% of the way back here, guys, for Nvidia tech.
Man,
Did you see that heat? First of all, that heat map had like two things that were red on it. If you were just looking, welcome back. Yeah. But it was UNH that stood out and Tesla, pretty much.
Yep.
I mean,
Verizon.
Verizon.
Right, they have a report coming.
Yeah, Verizon reported this morning. So
I have it on my screen as well, but
yeah, it's on Sean's screen.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. It's the same thing.
Like, are you kidding me? If you had told
UNH, baby.
Like, what is going on? If you had told me that I would be short a firm at $32 this morning before the market opened, I would have laughed in your face. And yet here we are. Is what it is. I'm just going to go there. We'll go to NVIDIA in a quick second because this is probably, we go right into Wednesday, or check that, that's Thursday's highs. And I'm looking for the short into there. We talked about that last week. Well, if it gets up to that price again, maybe we short it on Friday. It never did. Well, we're here today. NVIDIA, you know what happened on Friday. Okay, if you don't know what happened on Friday, then things were really bad for most of the market. They were exceptionally bad for NVIDIA, SMCI, and ARM.
Yeah, there was
the chip names. I'm like, yeah, what was the third one that was down over 10%? Well, today, understand that a 4% day and rip your face off is not even a fraction. Well, it is a fraction of the move that we had on Friday, but it's still impressive. I had one position to the long side in this, but trust me, the other chip names shorts have been dangerously bad. Like ARM was bad, NVIDIA was good. They're going to wash themselves out, a little bit up more on the breakout of NVIDIA. But this VWAP hold, and now we're run at 800, seems a little bit crazy. We might get this 805 we were talking about to look for a short. Well, you can't see because my head's in the way. There you go. This
805?
This is the 805 level where things accelerated to the downside. And when we were talking to Adair about her first week of trading, this was a shorting opportunity that I think she said she missed, or at least on NVDL. And it was right there at 805. If we get back there, I think I want to put a short on. So I had short. I am short Intel. I'll get to that one in a quick second. But that 805 looks like the level for me this afternoon. I'm short Intel again off of the high of the day. Like, wow, really? It's right back up to those tops. So what a strong reversal it's been. Just keep in mind, it is a fraction of the move on Friday. Lots of stocks. I mean, everything basically is making lower highs if you're a chip name. It's not as if you're breaking out from Friday's levels. It's like a relief rally.
Yeah, so I just want to say how funny it is because what Neil just mentioned there, his worst stock being ARM, and it's my best stock. So although we both have the same ideas on the stock, a lot of it does come down to just timing, execution, and then if the market is your friend, because Just like Neil hit that long in Nvidia, I'm sure some of you probably hit the short there at some levels anyways. Just back and forth. I think if we stay with some of those chip names, I know we're doing Nvidia now, then I feel like it'll be okay. We did give some back. Basically, Micron and ARM are like a wash for me today. So like I was shorting Micron here at 108.50. We got some profit, it didn't work, out a couple times. And then you have ARM, which looks like this, which is short, and it's basically been working in and around this $94, $95. And again, it just goes to show you, you got to stay with what you're doing, because right on here, we don't have anything about Micron, but yet we have ARM on here. So stay with the stocks that you believe in yourself, and you'll be a lot more profitable, I think. So anyways, that's what I'm doing right now. I'm short the market, and then the only chip names I have all day is ARM, and then that little small trade there for Micron. So we had ARM early. I mean, this is why ARM is number one. I mean, I can't just sit here and keep talking about the same trade, but this is 93, 94, exactly as we had it on here. So that is that print, and then this out is 89. So that's $4 or $5. And then now we've been shorting with much more shares right here, right now. A couple stop outs. We did get stopped out a couple times, and we took 93.50, but we haven't taken 94 yet. And we did. The sometimes doesn't work, but this time it did. And we reloaded that position. So, yeah, pretty happy with the chip names today. We'll get over Tesla next, and I'll talk to you guys about that adventure.
All right, first off, brought to you by Alfonso AI. Want to beat the market? Then you need Alfonso AI's powered stock ratings. Their top stock picks have surged over 100% since October 2022. Scan the code GET 50% off on the Pro monthly subscription with code TRADER50. Let's talk about Tesla. Sharif and I were just going back over the past few earnings reports here, and you got to go back a long way. It was January. Was the last time they reported, and the stock actually went up. I'm not saying that's going to definitely mean that they're going to go down even further off this report coming up this week. But yeah, it's been a struggle to say the least. Here, shout out to Trade Ideas as well. 25.89% down there on the month for Tesla.
Yeah, like you said, I mean, does it rocket up or does it tank down? It probably won't do anything in between because it's Tesla, but we'll wait for the earnings. Or we'll call not the past earnings, but the one prior to that. Elon was very bearish on the earnings call, and that's what precipitated the down move. It wasn't actually the release of deliveries or anything like that. It was his outlook that really pushed things down the fall. So we'll definitely be all ears when the call is on. But with respect to the catalyst today, it is more price cuts coming in to the tune of around 231 or 32, basically 14,000 yuan, excuse me, a reduction to the Model 3 and the Model Y in China, Brendo. That is the umpteenth price cut I think we've gotten the last 365 days.
Yeah, similar to what we heard from some of the Chinese makers this morning as well. Demand still an issue over in that country. So any ideas here for trades, guys, today?
Well, there was some idea for some short trades, and realistically, like if you looked at the open, it did flush like right away. You get this hammer candle down to 139, breaking through the 140 level. So if you scalped it, I'll be the first to admit, I said this morning, was a little too greedy with the breakdown trade and did not take profit on it, and then came back, was able to get, like this is all in the first 3 minutes. Did not get anything out on the breakdown trade, and then stopped out of it, then shorted 141 on the way back in, got a buck. Then we shorted through again. It took out a fresh high. At that point, we're like 1 for 3 shorting Tesla, and it's broken 142. So I was waiting for the 145 level. I'm just going to pop to a 15-minute chart. That was Friday's pre-market bottom. I was waiting for it to make a run at the 145. I'll slide back to a 3-minute chart here. It gets in to about 144.5, and that gave a chance to short it. So I had to sit it out for a couple of bucks. It pulled into VWAP. I trailed it thinking we'd see the lows. Obviously, you guys can see there, we didn't even get to the lows. And by we, I mean Tesla didn't get to the lows. And we talk about being patient, but the mistake here wasn't the lack of patience. The mistake was taking a breakdown trade and then not scalping, which is generally speaking my strategy. My strategy when I take breakouts or breakdowns is to ensure that I'm getting that first wick grab of profit because that's part of the reason you take more shares in it. So that was a mistake. You don't want to break your rules when you take that kind of a trade. We did. Now it looks like maybe VWAP is a bit of a thing. There is one other name. We didn't really talk about Rivian today, but Rivian's getting, because the market's up so much, I didn't think this would happen, but that Rivian and $9 could come into play this afternoon. So I said last week, Rivian double top failed $9, and I would short it if it tried to get up there again. Well, didn't think this would happen, but we're at 880, and if we're at 880 and it's 2 o'clock, that puts Rivian $9 squarely in focus. We get into the mid-90s, you'll probably see me in the short trade in Rivian. So Tesla price cuts. There was Li Auto. Oh, I guess we'll talk about Li Auto later because it's at the bottom.
Yeah, just responding to some emails. Okay, Tesla, all right. So we had it down as our #1 trade idea here today. We just got too short too early, and then we wound up making money back. We haven't done anything since. I was actually waiting for this 145 to come in again. We have pretty much the high of the day on the short. That was 144.50. We're short right now at 144 flat, so actually we don't have the high. I was waiting. We should have had more shares there. I'm still going to wait for it. I still like Tesla to the downside. Brendan sort of discussed how bad it's been this year for them, and it doesn't seem like it's going to be getting any better with earnings just around the corner. I mean, we sort of just like plug your nose and hope it doesn't stink that bad, I guess. But Tesla right now trying to break 140, I think it's probably another short. We're still short the market. We just reloaded a little bit right here at this high, looking for it. And the reason why we're short the market, because we'll talk about TikTok next, but right here, you're right back to 17.4 again. So we're back. Oh, you can't see. Yeah, get that out of there.
We'll have to.
There we go. So here we go. So we're just back to this level here of 17.4, back to February 21st. Sort of that little whoosh down that we talked about before we took off again. So now we're just going to wait to see if we could fade off that level. That's why I shorted the market. We only shorted the market now. So we were trying to be as patient as we can. And here we go. I was just going to use the top here as an out. So basically 50. I have my stop. Hold on. 75 break. So I just looked here at the 20-minute chart, and I just sort of said the last time we were here was right there, and we wicked high. It's the 60s. It's 63, 64. So whether or not you want to use, I'm just using 75. Remember, for TQs, it's triple the NASDAQ. So if this really gets going, you got to get out of the way. So be careful with this. We're short it right now. I know we're kind of dancing with the devil. We also have the short and arm. So those are the two shorts that we have. And then we are going to talk to BTC in a couple minutes. But let's go talk about TikTok and Snapchat.
And Snapchat, but yeah, TikTok based. We had that bill passed in Washington over the weekend that it's basically to a point where it needs a signature from Mr. President, and that will be all said and done for TikTok. So we were talking about this with Meta gapping to the upside this morning. I mean, Snap was kind of the same, but not as much. They both had that same sell-off initially, but I mean, there's still some hurdles to get through with this, so yeah, not a done deal by any stretches of imagination.
Yeah, we'll see. I mean, last time around we were talking about the forced sale or divestiture being within 6 months. Now it's been kicked down the road, for about a year from the date of enactment. Look, the winners here are going to be likely Meta, obviously Google, as well as Snapchat. Some of the losers, though, we haven't really talked about the losers because this is a privately traded company. Oracle houses all the U.S. data of TikTok. They stand to actually lose that entire contract. So we'll have to keep eyes on Oracle as well if there's going to be a forced divestiture.
Nice low here, anyways, to hold on to this morning, guys, for Meta, but hasn't been as good a day as some of the other ones.
Yeah,
right,
I know
Right.
I don't think we really talked as much about Meta because I think we're probably of like mind that usually when there is a snap up on some of this TikTok news, the bigger percentage move is in Snapchat. Why you got to put the fail on it? I think that was perfectly reasonable. Snap. And then with Snapchat, what I'm going to say for this is anchoring. So I've talked about this before. Sometimes you get anchored to a round number, and in this particular case, it was $11. I was looking for a dip buy in Snapchat. It was at $11.60. Now, if a stock is going to fall 5%, and you're going to look for a bounce, maybe you don't have to be anchored to the even dollar level as much as I know I was. Because if you look at last week, oh, where is that support? Was that a close at 1090? Is that a pre-market low at 1090? Is that a bounce essentially at 1090 this morning? Yes. So anchoring to the $11 level did exactly what? It got me into longs too early, got me out of longs too fast. And then you see it hold 1090, it then puts in a higher low at 11 even, and that's your opportunity. So we always talk about having a plan of action for execution as well, and this is what I mean by the particulars of a trade. Now, Snapchat wasn't a big loss for me. ARM was certainly worse, Tesla a little bit worse, not by a lot, but at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about the fact that a little bit better of an execution plan and just a little bit more patience, and this should have been actually a really positive stock. So that's what we talk about, refining your strategies. I know exactly what I did. I saw it get into this level. I'm like, ooh, let's get long here because we like 11s, and that's only 10 cents away. When really your level's down here, it just happens to be 1090. You needed to let it really test underneath 11 bucks, and that ended up being the case here in Snapchat. I didn't look at Meta, but Google's having a massive day, and we tend to forget about them when it comes to this TikTok ban news. We always talk about Meta and Snapchat as if it's only them.
Yeah, same. I was always checking Snapchat, and today we did have this written down on our sticky note. And remember, we talked about this last week, what's up to Piper and everybody else. I said that there's going to be some days, like we have this bottom. Like that was my big position, and so was 11. But we made some money back, and that was fine. And then we averaged in here, and then we got stopped out once it broke 90. That's the low of the day. So we could have had a lot of money here, and we don't have any. So that kind of sucks because that was a good opportunity for us, not taken. Snapchat, I'm a little bored with it. I'm not super excited about it. Meta's still this is still near like where we sold this in and around Friday, I believe. So let me just double check this. Yeah, so okay, you're well up from right now. But back into here, like 484, 482. Like I'm not really satisfied with Meta, honestly, until we break back above 500. So for me, it's going to remain a short. We have big earnings season now. I say you wait on Meta, let the TikTok sort of drama settle down. It will get divested. I'm certain of it. There'll be a lot of buyers there looking for that information. So I think you just got to hold off and wait for earnings on pretty much like all of these names. I don't see any real catalysts until we get to earnings. So sure, it's a nice move for Meta, but we knew the TikTok stuff earlier in the day. Like the TikTok stuff's not new. And this already went down $20. So it's back up now, the market's back up. So I'm discounting like, this might be a short here actually. I can't be too short, but this is looking good at 487. Anyways, I don't want to be just like TikTok this, TikTok this. This is going to be an earnings story. Meta could drop, quite a lot. We see Netflix make that same move basically to the downside and not even really green today, despite us being up 1.37%. So yeah, I still think there's a lot of drama to happen in this market today.
All right, we were just talking about some of these crypto names. Pretty good day across the board. There's Bitcoin, nice green day. If you look at the individual names, though, I mean, there's some that are definitely lagging. You just mentioned this one, Mara, only 4.8%, but a huge wick forming on the daily chart. MSTR, crazy mover. Once again, it's up, what is it, 14%?
Yeah, Brendo, 14. It was 14 and a quarter.
Unreal.
Come down a little bit. Like the winner of them all today is Riot Blockchain, a cool 21% as I'm talking right now. There's a reason for that. A couple of nods here, one from HC Wainwright, the other from Needham. Needham maintaining its buy rating on Riot with a $17 price target, and HC Wainwright also maintaining its price target with $20. So not bad. That's a big premium from where it's currently trading at.
I didn't check coin, but yeah, not as much either. Only 7. Pretty good.
We're, the only trade here, I mean, it's a big one. It's on the sticky note. It is going to be my P&L 2 of the day. Shout out to Big Patty Ice, everybody over here that is trading Mara. So, again, like these are the trades, and we could sit here all day and, talk about the different trades that we're in and why we're not in them or why we are in them and this and that. But, like, honestly, this is why I have the lines here. I went for a walk. I immediately told BPI and Sharif, I'm going long Mara, I'll see you later. Like that took the 50 period. So we tried to go long here 16 and it didn't work. So that was definitely like, hey, it's me. I'm the anti-hero one more time. Shout out to T-Swizzle as well. But the idea behind this trade is simple, man. That's ARM, my bad, Mara. I just got out of some ARM because we just took some positions and it came back in for us, so that was a good one. Was just to get long on that 50-period break. I mean, look, Bitcoin held up. This came back in. This was pretty puzzling for me. We tried to defend 16. We didn't do it. There was obviously a seller here. Bitcoin was still fine this whole ride. Now you're at 66.5. We took that. Sure, we got a lot. I mean, this is why Pat just said, like, tell me you're still in this. And I was like, not really. I only have 10% left. And the reason why is because when we went $1 into the money basically here and we are near VWAP, we are near the 200, that to me is like a rules-based thing. If we can ever get basically the bottom of the day and bring it back to VWAP or the 200 period, we're gonna get out of that. But there it goes again, man. A stock that we don't normally trade, it's Mara, and it's my number 2 stock of the day. ARM's gonna be 1 and Mara's gonna be 2. So again, you've never seen it probably on the sticky note in a long time, but when it's there, you know, we get a read on it. And I think, Neil, it's just the same thing. It's you wait for the catalyst. You know, we had the halving. Obviously, we sit here and we talk about miners throughout that whole time, and there it is. Hopefully a nice trade for a lot of people out there in Mara and or Riot.
Yeah, that's the key. I mean, look, to be honest, I mean, I didn't even notice Riot was up 20% today until just now. I knew it had a big day, but you look at the one that you're comfortable trading. Like, you should know where you want to express the trade when something happens. So the halving, if you like Mara, you trade Mara. If you like, I think this was nothing to do with Coinbase, but at the end of the day, if you like trading Coinbase for whatever reason, you could have traded Coinbase.
Yeah.
Coinbase might break it out this afternoon. So 228. I'm looking over. Bitcoin's holding 66.5%. I mean, if you do get a bust out the top, this could be wild over 228. We've seen the squeeze before. It's up 7%. Obviously, you know, anything bullish in the crypto land in general can be seen as good for Coinbase, and it never broke the lows. You got a big V-shaped recovery from this morning's fall. So I think the 228 levels that's where my eyeballs will be on Coinbase if it's going to break one out this afternoon. It's not today's high. That is, I think it got there. Yeah, it got there on Friday, and it was a double top at 228, Thursday and Friday. Not quite today, but that looks like a potential breakout this afternoon on Coinbase to me.
All right, Fabian's here. Let's talk about Li Auto here. Downside initially this morning on this note for demand again, some price cuts, significant ones coming through over in China. We did get a bit of a pop here back to 25, but yeah, that's pretty ugly. Still 5.25% on the day.
Yeah, I mean, like when Tesla's cutting prices in your jurisdiction, you're going to have to do the same thing in order to meet the same type of demand. But yeah, Li Auto released the L6 last week. It's their smallest in terms of the L7, 8, and 9. It's the smallest of the bunch. It was not well received. In addition to that, it's MPV, the multi-purpose vehicle, which is supposed to be a really big van. It's only pure electric battery vehicle, also not well received. And today, Brendo, we heard more price cuts. A bit of a tough look here for Li.
Yeah, unless you're looking for a bounce of some sort, not much really happening here, guys, today for Li Auto.
Yeah, I was looking for a bounce to fade. Like, thankfully, we took profit on this one. Otherwise, it would have gone the way of everything else. Like, it was a stair step to the upside on Li Auto, but there's almost no way when I see this on the daily chart, flat bottom breaking 26, I don't want to try to short this going into said top. So that's essentially what we did. Like, it came back, it obviously didn't get into 26, just dark pooled prints in there, but it bounced, waited for it to make a level. At the open, the high was 24.75, so when it came back in, shorted that to VWAP, then shorted it off the 25 level back into VWAP, thought I was holding the rest for the absolute bottom. You can see what happens, just stair step up, and when it took out the highs, we jumped out of it. That said, like, look at the gap that still exists on Li Auto. So yes, it is an upward trending stock today, but it's done nothing to break the downward trend as far as I'm concerned. It just means you have to be a little bit more patient if you're day trading. So good for them. I think it helped that the Chinese ADRs ended up really strong today. Otherwise, I'm not sure this makes the move that it did. But underneath that 26, when a level like this breaks on the daily chart, my response is to pretty much look for shorting opportunities unless it regains that support. So until that happens, I'm going to be looking for shorts on Li Auto. Price wars, we've been talking about this forever and nothing's really changed. Oh, and remember, keep this in mind. Li Auto down 5% today. I know it had a little bit of a bounce. But have a look at something like a NIO. Up 6% with a nice little relief rally. But just like Li Auto, when you zoom in there, okay, it's got an up day. It hasn't even broken its latest breakdown. So everything is always in perspective. Yes, day trade, what an unbelievable reverse that NIO had. Yet to even take out last week's tops. So great, strong, bullish run today, but in the grand scheme of things, the overall trend still favoring the downside for these Chinese EVs.
Man, it never stops. I'm here trying to organize rep tryouts now. Like, I was on the phone all last night. Now these guys may have some problems with some timing. Okay, China EVs. Yeah, I mean, you just went over NIO, XPeng, Li Auto. I mean, the EV name, let's just check in on FSRN real quickly here. Ooh, Fisker 5 cents. Not bad, up 12%. Okay. Let's check out Lucid to see how beat down some of these other names are. Will we be joining the pink sheet at some point? Lucid is in the building today, and it's not doing too much, but it is also near the bottom. I think the name that most of us are concerned with, and we'll have to get Randy back on here, talk a little bit more about this name because he likes it, and that's Rivian. And right now, Rivian is kind of at its bottom. And by kind of at its bottom, I mean it directly is at its bottom.
Oh, yeah.
Let me do a bigger chart here for Rivian, just to have a look right now. Oh my God, he's here. Okay, Randy, good call. I just wanted to see Rivian. Okay, so I know it's at its 52-week low. I just wanted to make sure it was at its all-time low. It had gotten in here to 11 or so before during the summer months, but there it is right there on the weekly chart. Hello to Ford and everybody, Amazon, everybody that IPO'd this thing, up to 180, or that was part of it, up to 180 there, now down all the way. You would think this one reversed, or this thing split or something, Randy, but it did not. We were at 180 on Rivian, if you guys can believe this or not. What week was this? The week of November 15th in 2021. So what a week that was to get puts on Rivian. And now you are all the way in the dumpster, Randy, but the daily doesn't look so bad. But there it is right there. Nice little move to the downside for Rivian. So,
did you just say the daily doesn't look that bad?
Not as bad as the week.
Okay, fine.
What I was getting at.
Fair.
Yeah.
It looks pretty bad.
At least you don't get to see that 180 mark. Yes, and I see you're wearing the Superman shirt, so.
I actually have that exact same shirt, but like.
I think a lot of people have that shirt,
Yeah.
to be honest with you. Okay, just quickly, ARM just broke, but that's fine. Still my number one stock. We didn't really do any reloading right there. We did a little bit of 80, out at 94. So please just punch for that. But the reason why we can't hold on to it
You say please this one.
is because, yeah, I said that. Yeah, that's something that we say. This one right here is what's the problem. So the NASDAQ just keeps on going. We were able to get some out. We are currently net positive on it, but if this market just keeps on taking out highs here, we're not going to be able to withstand short ARM, short NASDAQ, so no. So we're going to run out of the way here. We've given some back on this. If we hold this, we'll be negative on it, but our out's coming very, very soon up here, about 10 more cents, and then we'll get out on the TQs. You could see huge move down over the last couple days, but today's really surprising a lot of people. Well, me for sure. I mean, I thought we were going to be, yeah, and Neil too. I thought we would.
I have my hand up, like, yeah.
Yeah, your hand is still
me
up
too.
there. Yeah.
Me too.
Yeah. Can we get Neil's hand up there?
I'm just saying, if you're
No,
not
no,
surprised by today, then
Yeah. So
maybe some people are not.
we'll see. It's 2:30 now. I don't want to like throw in the towel yet, but we are pretty close to doing that on all the shorts.
Fabian,
Last one.
Fabian, that's a good one. Throw in the towel. And you know what would be really cool if it was like Sylvester Stallone throwing in the towel, like he should have done to save Apollo's life. Why does the brother have to die in that movie, yo? You could have made the point if he was just in the hospital or something.
Yeah.
He
had a good run.
I'm just saying he didn't have to die in an exhibition match.
He should not have died. That seemed
Legend of it. Anyways.
Great film.
It's a good movie. It's some good movies, but like, come on, throw in the towel, Rocky. Literally, you could see the
He's
man.
supposed to be your boy, yeah.
What's so weird about that is it doesn't, when you watch that, it doesn't actually make sense because That's his boy. They have a great relationship. He sees him being pummeled, and he's ready to do it. It's like, okay, so basically you didn't throw it in there as a plot device to motivate you to be able to win a fight and then say all that line. If I can change, and you can change, we all can change. That whole nonsense that had to happen.
You like Rocky, Randy?
Anyways,
Man.
you don't seem very passionate about it.
Can Rivian get off the mat is the question.
No.
Thank you, Randy. Give it a bit, yeah. Been done giving
Well,
it a bit.
buy the dips, huh? Okay. You know what? And actually,
Buy the dips until those dips.
No, this is something that Brendan's been saying, and I know he said this on the podcast. Check out the podcast.
Yeah,
Came out
good,
this
good
weekend.
segue.
Get your swamp water.
Get your swamp
while
water
it's
on
still good.
immediately.
We can
If
put the
it's still
podcast. I don't have the button
Swamp
for it.
water with ice is good. I've never had
Oh,
swamp water
no.
forever, man.
Limit the amount of ice so you can get more of it in the cup.
Well, that's the whole point about the swamp water. You can just keep refilling it.
Oh, that's true. But then it's more trips to anyway.
Yeah.
If
I
you
don't think
don't know
McDonald's
it-
likes that anymore. I think there's been a few McDonald's that have taken away the self-fill up.
You can do it at Burger King too.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, literally anywhere. You could do it at your house.
Wow. I mean, okay, I guess you could. Cineplex, you can do it as well.
I thought the
Yeah,
Cineplex
anywhere.
I thought they all got rid of those machines, the most of them.
No, some of
Cineplex has your own
Yeah,
fill up?
some of them still have.
Oh, yeah, I know the one at
Yeah.
Scotiabank. Yeah, it's the machine one.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get like Pepsi vanilla.
I actually don't like Pepsi Vanilla. Maybe that's an unpopular point.
I don't know. Sometimes
I'm not
there's-
a fan.
You like cherry Coke? That was pretty popular.
No, I like cherry Coke.
I don't
You
mind
know-
cherry Coke.
You know why I like cherry Coke? One of the good things about it is it's good for making like some mixed drinks because like you know,
Okay,
you
yeah,
put
yeah,
cherry,
like
a cherry garnish in,
yeah,
right?
amaretto.
Yeah, then you can just put like a splash of like cherry Coke, ends up being really, really good.
That's actually not a bad. It's actually not bad. Yeah, Paulo said there's no tomorrow, so that's why.
Oh, but
it's either going to be no tomorrow or there's literally no tomorrow. You know.
Look,
I mean,
I understand why they had to do
Maybe
it.
he took it literally.
It's a movie, but it's the equivalent of imagine.
Come on, futures.
No, but
We're-
it's the equivalent of like imagine you're buying the dip on Pack B, and then you know what are you gonna do? Are you gonna buy the dip when it breaks $1, or are you
how's
gonna
their average cost
buy
now?
the dip
Where
when
are
it
we?
breaks 50 cents?
57.
No, it's not a big deal. But what I was getting at with the podcast and the line in there was why buy the dip? Why do you have to buy the dip in Rivian? Like if Rivian's going to look at a daily chart of this thing, first of all, can we go to the chart, Ramin, for a sec? Ram, thanks. No, it's all good. I know.
Was that a Ram chart or no?
No, it's I
Okay.
think that's a chart. But if you're gonna get, like, even if it goes to the 200 period at $18, or maybe it comes back to this like 24, 25 in a couple of years. Like, are you gonna care whether you actually pick the bottom, or what if it does this round, breaks 10s, and then holds $11? The next thing you know, you're buying a consolidation after it's made a rounding pattern. Now, and the good thing about that is, if you had done that before, you might have bought this, like $12.50, and then you'd have an out at 10. And
Right.
then you risk 25% for a potential double up. That's actually a trade with a risk reward. When you catch the falling knife, oftentimes you don't have an out unless it's zero, and I'm not gonna say like I've never done that before. So back into trading as the market continues to go higher. A firm, by the way, why am I short a firm when it's up today? This pattern. Like downward pattern, so when it goes into a resistance at a top, I want to short that. And last week's top is in here, so it's consolidating off that level. That's why I like to short. And you just respect, trends come in a lot of different fashions. Like there's a trend in the day, but then there's also the trend in the higher, to your 15-minute chart, your daily chart, like those matter as well. And if I go against the grain, it's usually because I'm working with the higher time frame trend and it's gotten to the level. So that's the case here with a firm at 32. Or I'm in at 32, but this high is like 32.40.
Yeah, we are basically pennies away here from taking this one out. There's not much we can do. Well, we could have got out earlier, but the TQs just keeps on pumping up. See, we're not averaging in. We got, like, I'm kind of waiting for like a 30-cent swing back to the 50 period. I'd hate just to get stopped out and then to see this. The futures do bump around a little bit, but right now, I mean, it's just heading higher. So the right play was to flip it over like we did on Mara. That's the only long that we have right now. And actually, you know what? Funny thing, I was just looking up some Rivians here. Funny thing is that Tesla does not look the same. I mean, the market is pretty much marching higher right now, as we can see. We've just talked about that, like relentlessly higher to where I can't even get out of these cues. But Tesla is going the other way. And I mean, maybe not right this second, but it was just tempting fate at VWAP. Do you know how far away we are on VWAP on the market? I mean, this is one of the furthest levels I've seen upside right now, which is why I'm trying to hold on to the short. But the short has been a painful short. We won't wind up losing that much on it, but it hasn't been right. This is where we started to get involved at 17.4 when I thought that we had seen the top. I can pull out the charts again to show you 17.4. You go find it yourself. But I thought that would be resistance there. I guess once it broke and just kept on going, that's when we could have got out of that for probably flat trade. But I just was like, okay, we're starting to like bleed up here. Maybe eventually we will trace down. And I think a lot of this has to do with, I mean, there's Tesla going down. I was just looking at it because like I'm making money on Tesla, but just giving it all back times 5, times 10 on this Q short was Nvidia because
800.
Yeah, okay, so that was the next thing I was going to, Neil just yelled it out. I was going to say it's the rush to 800 here, and then in the eventual break, which is happening right now, that is sending this market, obviously, not the market, but it's nice to see that you do have the emperor back. And I mean, Nvidia was down 11% or something like that at one point on Friday. It touched how low did it go? 730 or what was that? I mean, that very bottom. Yeah, no,
40,
55, sorry.
Oh, no, I'm thinking SMCI, never.
Yeah, that's the thing. I always get these names confused. But end of the day, Nvidia is really holding fort here today, and it's up 5%. It's 3 times the market. It's a great trade. Even the fact that AMD has really battled back as well. I mean, you're getting back to that 150 marker, which we had looked at a short earlier today. We missed this play. I think you probably had a short there. If I remember, did you trade AMD today?
I had that shot on AMD.
Yeah, so that shot could be coming again. So shots from the back.
But if Nvidia breaks 800 and continues higher, I just want this to, I want AMD this time to bust into the level. It was so different when it was like way too fast. Like look how rapidly it goes into that 150 area and then pulls back. Like this time, this is a little bit more steady. Like you're grinding slowly into it. So the way that I would look for a short would be like a false breakout. But let's go to the, oh, by the way, before we go to the desk to take care of some business, Intel right back at the high. Like so once, twice, this is like the third or fourth time it's gotten up to this. 34, I think it's like 56 is the actual local high here on Intel. So wild, we're all the way back, 1% to the upside. I got this, I got a firm, neither one's broken the top yet, but it feels like it's just a matter of time. Let's go to the desk and take care of some business.
This part of the show brought to you by IG. You can get as much as 50-to-1 leverage when trading Forex at IG. Currencies like Euro and USD can require as little as 2% margin rates and offer $0 commissions trading using a Forex account at IG. And for a limited time, traders can open, fund, and trade with IG for up to $10,000 in funding bonuses. Terms and conditions apply.
As they are apt to do. A couple of other things to get to you guys. We already talked about like the crypto names, Coinbase, all that good stuff, but we didn't mention this bad boy, Alphabet. Up 2%. I think this is the champion, Mag 7. Well, okay, never mind. I mean, Nvidia percentage-wise is, but I would say just the way that this bounced might be the strongest one on Alphabet, above 157.
That's beautiful.
Like it was just like the ramp job. And now you're above, there we go, now you're above last week's highs at 157. So if there's something that actually is appealing on a dip buy, because if I think the market's getting close to resistance levels, then I really want something strong. If it does pull back, that's a dip. I think 157 on on Google is going to stand out. So it's at the half. If we do get a dip, definitely going to cover some Affirm and some Intel into that. But 157 on Apple. I keep saying Apple. 157 on Google or Alphabet looks pretty solid. Now we're finally getting a move into the downside. Like I said, I'm going to cover some Affirm and some Intel on this dip because if you don't take profit on shorts,
dude, I don't know what's happened here. I have this piece in my ear. I ain't hearing nothing. I don't know if there's.
Is this even on?
Oh, it's. What now, Fabian?
Oh, mine's not.
All right, good. I like you. All right. So we just.
What was that? I missed something. Whatever.
No, it's like when Ramin comes, it's all good and everything. But then Fabian comes over here. I'm like, what are you doing, my guy? Right there. But all right.
Too close, man.
Yeah, you're too close. Back up. All right, so we just got a little excited there. We took some profit, man. I mean, when this just came back, we are net positive. Hallelujah. I'm not going to do anything because we still have this whole position pretty much. But TQs. So we just took some out. We are now net positive with this current hold. I just put another bid at 50 to... Come on, yes, okay. I'm also bidding some 46s. Then I want to bring the pain down. So if we're going to be right about the futures, then we are in the futures. We're in the TQs. We're trying to spin this. We just made a decent amount back on this move back in. We didn't make anything back. It was unrealized. But like my net was like, okay, let's not have these Leafs go down 0-2 here. But like, you know, I was about to have a bad day. But this now coming back down in. Let's see what happens. There we go. Come on. Come on, here we go. Let's go. Let's see if we can get the Bears to ride again. Does that make sense? It's more like the Bulls to ride again. Shout out to the Chicago Bulls. You guys really shit the bed, but that's okay because, you know, last year you had DeMar DeRozan, whose daughter is super cute.
Well,
okay, but yelling and screaming, and then our lack of professional free throw shooters couldn't make a shot, although, you know, fans were yelling. So, anyways, I love DeMar DeRozan. That's, I mean, from a Maple Leaf, from a Raptor
I love him too.
Standpoint, but I thought that was like, and then I was also mad because Masai, for some reason, traded away our first round pick this year. Thank God it's protected. We'll see where the Raptors go. Anyways, they finished, I think they finished sixth, and we need sixth last. But we need to protect that pick. So we need to either win the lottery or slot in six or down. The Ducks do fly together.
This is, if you follow like college basketball or men's college.
I know, it's a bad year.
It is probably talent-wise like the worst NBA like the lottery in the NBA draft is going to be the worst one in a very, very
The thing
long
is, though, man, those scouts are so wrong all the time.
I know, but I can't even think of a year where people have been like that you can compare it to. And usually there's not this much of a consensus about it too. And the top two
It's
picks,
more the consensus.
Like the top two picks might be a couple of dudes from France, and trust me, they're nowhere near the level of usually the star from Europe.
Yeah.
It's like normal years these guys would be going in like the I don't know, like 5 to 15 range, and now they're going to be 1-2 because there's just nobody out there. That said,
let's just hope it's the same. Yeah, you got to take your shot. I mean,
you have to.
They need some shots.
And I'm not that worried about the Leafs, and Patty Ice said this, and what I love about Big Patty Ice, you can see Patrick in the corner just next to Sean there. So the Leafs went down 1-0. He's in his Leafs hat, his Leafs jersey. That's called staying the course. You want to talk about staying the course? It's realizing that you haven't lost anything. It ain't over yet.
No.
And you haven't lost anything till you lost at home, and you haven't lost on the trade until the trade is over. So with that said, the market is not going. I mean, the market's now starting to come down. I'm going to apologize for the wick on the chart that just showed up on my my Intel.
Man, we doing it now.
So quick in here, we're back at the 34.4. I just took some out, and then Affirm as well. This is rolling back into first support at 31.75. So I just took some out on that wick, and I'm looking to get more at 75. I don't know if we get a VWAP retracement. That feels a little bit extreme. And guess what? I wanted Nvidia at 805. Nvidia made the curl at $800.
Look at that futures trade.
It looks like the entry was going to be $800, but the shorts only have 2 on, 2 working. Just got to stay the course at this point. Yeah, trading range. I missed the Nvidia short as well because I was looking for a break of 800 to short it into 805. Obviously, that's not going to happen. We got a couple others. Affirm, that was more off of like the 50.
Where's Nvidia now?
Anything else? 793.
Okay, so it did break. I mean, I was watching it live. It broke that 800, but yeah, I was thinking about shorting that 800. I sort of talked about why I didn't, and it's because we had the TQs on it. We were already short the market, and we just got paid off. So right there, in what was going to be one of the worst trades, and this is why we talk about this all the time. You sometimes have to get the market and luck a little bit on your side. We were pretty close to getting stopped out there. We talked about where we were. We were pennies away. So for this thing to fall back in, and then we were just like, okay. That just came in pretty nicely, and we're able to take advantage of that. So we just covered a bunch down there, man, in the 30s, right in this shelf. Remember what we said? If we could get it back into here, this is like good. So we'll take that now on a day where we've been wrong to short it. All of a sudden, P&L 2 will be the Qs on a position that I was not in love with. So there you go, man. Sometimes you got to get good to be lucky and lucky to be good. And I just figured there, we picked our levels, we zoomed out a little bit, and we just believed in the trade. So it worked out. But, you know, believing in something and being stubborn about something is two different things. So you got to be careful that you're not that. And then this is where, and by stubborn, I mean, I can go over some stubborn trades if you want. You know, Tesla this morning, keep on averaging in until you're eventually wrong. You know, that's bad. But right there, this was the level that I looked at. So that's why we shorted. We get that huge wick up there, about 40 handles away from 14, and then we start to come, 17.4, and then we start to come back down. So, I mean, you know, we're gonna sit here and just relax here in the afternoon. We averaged into this trade. It is coming back down. We did indicate to everybody, though, that we had a nice win with Tesla, and that's still trying to bounce off VWAP. So if the market does come down, then this is the name that we want to short. It's Tesla, and hopefully this makes a move back down to the downside. Mara is going to be an out. Oh, we can talk about Disney. Mara is going to be out if we break 17, so that's about it.
What's the Disney's a note on Disney?
Oh, no, Disney. Oh, so I'm flat on Disney. Look at this, ripped up. I was shorting it.
I didn't even know you traded Disney today.
Yeah, well, it was off camera. It was off during lunchtime because we came back up into
What the hell was that move?
Yeah, I don't.
Hold on a second. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
I didn't even see that Disney did this.
Whoa,
I
whoa,
was
whoa,
just
whoa.
reviewing my trades.
Whoa, 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 hold on a second.
So
What the-
maybe news on Disney?
I mean, look, I'm not saying that was news on Disney, but come on. It's the biggest volume candle since other than the open, and look at the reversal. So, I mean, I can look it up myself, too. I didn't see anything on Disney. If this pulls back and holds VWAP, that looks at least a little bit interesting. Sorry, I'm just going to pull this up on Benzinga. What time was that? That was about 1:18. You know what? I don't see anything at that time. Okay.
I think the market just ripped.
Well, Adara might have it. Let's go to the desk.
I don't know if this is what's it, but I did see something on Disney here coming in around 150. Their technology executive is leaving the company and taking a job as the chief tech officer of Penn Entertainment. So DIS technology executive leaving to get a job as CTO of PENN. So that could be what happened here on Disney. That news coming in about an hour ago, guys.
I don't know, the CTO leaving, having it go to the upside?
Yeah, it's like, you know, our technology is so bad, we need somebody else. So once it.
I mean, if the stock goes up that much
Good look,
when that
though.
guy left,
Good
or
look.
whomever it was, I didn't actually catch it. Aaron, Aaron,
Aaron's here in the chat?
Aaron LaBerge.
Is D Nice in here as well? Where's
Apparently.
D Nice at?
So Aaron leaves and the stock, you know, I feel like it might be something else, or it could have just been technical, but that's a Christmas tree that if it gets back into VWAP, that looks a little bit interesting. But, wow. Yeah, I had assumed that something must have hit, but that's wild on Disney. Sometimes it just goes to show you, well, like maybe a buy program just gets triggered.
Yeah, you never know.
Yeah, you don't know. That
But-
seems like it could just be a buy program.
Yeah, it's like a learning opportunity. Like, look, you just get out.
Yeah, I mean,
See?
just
There's the learning opportunity.
The volume, wow.
We're short against VWAP, it breaks, we give it a couple pennies and we get out. This is how, when you look down and you say, okay, I was just trying to review some trades, like going over some stuff that we might have not talked about before. So that was a shot right there at VWAP, not working out, boom. If I could have all of my trades like this, that would be perfect. Like if we're gonna lose like this. I have another example on a low-key loss right here. It's the same kind of thing with Micron. This one we lost a little more because I was really liking the short in Micron, and we did it a couple more times. This is kind of like a little bit being stubborn because here we are shorting basically VWAP, basically the 50 period, and then once it wasn't working, I just kind of went up about 30 or 40 cents, found this level, and then eventually that wound up breaking. But again, get out of the way so it's not like a day-month ruiner. We talked about that. And then that will allow you to put damage on the board like this. Like the Qs just dropped down again, and we just got another fill there at 30s. So it's like, as long as you stay in the game, and you don't, like I'm saying, you don't want to just keep on averaging in all the way up. You have to have an out, and as long as you can justify the trade to yourself, that's the only way that it's going to be quantifiable. Because,
You know what's hilarious about Micron?
What's that?
I have exactly the same experience on Micron. I took two shorts and I just got out of the way. and that the points that you're getting out, like that out looked bad because they could have gotten back in and it would have worked. But then this one is exactly where it accelerated. Like, look how bad that is, or could have been, I should say, if you kind of stick with it. Like, think of it like this. When we talk about risk to reward, we just talked about basketball. Like, if you're a certain Mr. Porter and not the one that's actually playing right now or that is allowed to play in the NBA, it's about risk to reward. So is it worth risking your NBA career to make a few $1,000s? I don't know what the minimum salary is in the NBA. I'm going to assume it's more than 21 grand because I think that's how much Porter lost or something like that. Or he made $21,000 in his bets, but he risked his NBA career to gamble on NBA games. That's the equivalent of going against the grain in the trade forever. When, like, think of how far it has to come back for you if you just short it the entire way. It's risk to reward. If you get the right spot, then your risk to reward is good.
Yeah.
If you get the wrong spot, then it can be ridiculous. And I'm not just saying that because I want to harp on a Raptor player.
No, I think that he was in trouble way deeper than he thought, and he tried to make back a bunch of money gambling.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know the whole.
He made
story.
$2.8 million in his NBA career, but
Yeah,
I feel like he thought himself in a lot of trouble.
$750 minimum is the league minimum.
Yeah. I mean, there's only 10 people or 12 roster spots, so
Yeah, like think about how rare that is.
If you're going to go into the NBA, that's even just to get drafted.
Oh, just
it's like that Caitlin Clark. She's making, which is crazy. The 4-year deal averages are out at like $72,000 a year in the WNBA. But again, you get paid based on revenues, so
you know how much she's going to make in
I can't
endorsements,
complain.
though?
Yeah, she's already signed an
That's what I'm
8-figure
saying,
deal
like-
with Nike. No, it's all good.
Yeah, she'll get paid.
It's all good. Oh no, I'm not worried about her. It's the other ones. It's the ones that are not getting.
Oh, it's 1.1 million?
What?
No, the average salary. Let's see, the minimum's 1.1, not 750. Really? Okay, I didn't know that.
What is the?
Yeah, ask
NBA
who you asking?
I'm asking
Oh, you know, no. Let me ask the Meta AI on WhatsApp because now you actually have. Oh, yeah, I don't want to show you my conversation.
You can have.
Oh, it doesn't matter. But you can ask like Meta, what is the minimum? I can't type with a crap.
It says next year's minimum will be 1.1 million. This year is 1.0 million.
Okay.
So it's 1.01. So you throw in $17,000 in there. So it's $1,017,000 according to.
Well, because I asked this
AI.
something. Yeah, see.
And not Allen Iverson.
No, I asked a question to this over the weekend just to test it out. I'm talking about the Meta AI through WhatsApp.
We're
and
huge
it got,
right
like,
now.
It got an easy question wrong, and I was like, that's kind of ridiculous. But it got that one right. It said 1.
My hands are still cold, man. What the hell?
Of course, they're still cold.
All right, they only start to get cold like when we're starting to sit here and trade. Like I was fine during lunch. Okay, so here we go. Maybe it's just nervous hands, but we ain't nervous hands right now. Let's props it up. There it is right now. We will put on right in front of all of you. This is the #1 P&L name. I mean, I'm still holding it on the day. So again, you might not have anything written down on here, but we felt bearish. We kind of sniffed this level out. It was a little bit too early of a take. I understand that, but I wanted the short at 17.4. That's kind of where we started. As you can see, we're just here right now. So that's kind of like these fills up at 30s, 48s. So we started this fill at 45. It's not like we held it that far against us. So now it's coming back down. Let's just see what we can do. We've now taken out like almost 3/4 of this. So let's just hold another piece, see if we can make that piece for the dream and then get back down to the downside. So we're really happy with all of that. So let's hold out hope that this can make a move back lower for us on the futures. We might have just stopped. And the reason why is we're running right into this level. So we had a pretty epic move, then the cool down, then another huge bump, and then here's the move back, the retracement back, and now you're possibly getting a slowdown right there at 17,380. So that's something to look for. That's what I'm doing right now, and the TQs, and then Tesla is still a short. I keep on clicking it, not realizing that we're on the futures. But here's Tesla right now looking to break through 141. I think that's going to be a good take if we can get lower than where we are right now.
Yeah, I just took some profit on
No futures.
a firm 31.8. It just we're short 32.7, 07 into 31.8. Still some higher lows. I mean, overall, you can see it making higher lows, but that's a pretty decent pullback. And if you go station to station, obviously you had this high here at 31.5. I think that's a good target instead of VWAP. And then obviously you had this level in here, 31.8, where it did another pullback. And when that happens, I like those for target areas. So we waited for down moves to short. down move to short, and then we're going to take some profit in. I think we still have a chance, for this market to really do a little bit more damage to the downside. And if it happens, you got 80 points until you get to what was overnight resistance, and if that level comes in 17.3, I'd expect some bounce shots. And if we're still in those shorts at that point, might be the spot. We're getting into power hour now. Might be the spot to be all out, or at least looking for longs. Now, Alphabet didn't show any bounce off 157, but it seems like it could still bounce off the early breakouts, which is 156.5. So there's this nice chance to be able to get something out in front of VWAP, but it didn't really set up off 157. So, not just yet. Vanny, you're right, Leaf Nation, that's what it's all about. When you talk about stick-to-itiveness for your plan or your trades, or your trade plan could involve like setups on 10 different stocks, but it's the same setup. Or it could involve trading the same stock. Either way, it's about sticking in your lane. And if you're a Leaf fan, then you don't freak out after one loss. And that goes with anything. Like in trading, you don't freak out just because you lose an individual trade. Like you can't be about that. Because if you are, then you're not going to trade the next setup when it's there for you. And if you turn into that kind of a trader, there's just no way to win. Because if you can't take your A+ setups because of something happened the trade before, well, guess what? There will always be a losing trade that you have to try to follow up with a winner. That's just the reality. You're not always able to take a position coming off of a couple of nice wins. So sometimes you just got to suck it up. Apple, I'm looking at VWAP here. We talked about Google, but Apple's strong as well. I'm looking at VWAP at 166. This was a really good turning spot for Apple, above Friday's resistance. You get above this 166 and hold it for support. Just another couple of ticks down, and I would look for some kind of a bounce there in Apple. Just feels like we might have a chance to get Google a little bit as well. Oscar plays. Coin has relative strength. You're right. Although I did outline what I was looking for in Coinbase, which was very specifically this break here. I wanted this taken out, this triple top. When I see this, there's only one of two things that I'm doing. I either want to short the top or I want to get the break of the top. That's 3 days in a row, essentially the same level. Today, because Bitcoin's relatively strong, you have the catalyst of the halving for a lot of this move as well. I'd rather be looking for the long in Coinbase. And to each their own. The other thing I think Coinbase has going for it is on the daily chart, you have a nice consolidation where it's trying to break out of that consolidation up. It's holding the 50-period moving average. Remember what we said about things like Microsoft and some of the chip names and the tech names, where they're holding underneath and looking to break down? Well, this is holding the 50-period and looking to break out of it with higher lows off that support level. So I'm favoring the breakout trade on Coinbase. And I just realized, hey, it's above 225. I can have that order out. So I don't want to miss it. And the fun thing about this is if you're at Real Trading, there's like multiple stop orders that we can use. But one of them, if I sit on it, like Edge A stop, for those of you that are with Real Trading, that one sits server side, so it's a little bit faster. And when I mean server side, instead of sitting on our server here, waiting for a print on my system, and then firing the order out that goes all the way down into the NASDAQ in this case. In this particular case, the stop goes all the way over to Direct Edge's server, which is essentially right next door to the NASDAQ, and it's just a little bit faster to trigger. So for a breakout trade, I prefer that one. And it'll show up as like a limit order in my, like a limit order that'll cross up to like 30s. If 228 breaks, I'll fire an order up to 228.30 or whatever it is that I put it to. I might have put it to like 35. It doesn't matter. So we're looking for that breakout on coin. We are ready for it. Yeah, appreciate you, Oscar. Like when we're kind of chilling out here, I'm not forcing any trades. I'm in a couple that are working, but I am looking for new. Whether it's Alphabet, dip buy, maybe we can get an Apple on VWAP, could be a Coinbase breakout. None of those things have happened yet. And until they do, you just want to be patient, picking your spots, right? It's like what made Floyd Mayweather so good? What made Floyd Mayweather is like the most patient dude you could ever imagine in your life. Imagine going into a ring, being better, you're better than the other guy, but his game plan is to sit there and play amazing defense and pick his spots and just not make any mistakes. Even though he probably could have gone in there and aggressively boxed a lot of guys and looked a little bit more flashy, he could guarantee wins by being boring to some people, which I always thought was pretty cool. I love watching Floyd box. And some people are like, Floyd's a boring fighter. I'm like, that's nice. Everyone's into something different. Like some people want to see someone throw some haymakers, man. I love watching that guy just make other people look like fools for a bunch of rounds, then pick his spots to go in there. Hopefully we can do that this afternoon.
Good movements on board right now. Yeah, so just real quick here before we go. So the futures did make that move down. We were able to capture more profit down on the downside. I'm not going to average in. If we break higher, we break higher. See you later on that one. Mara's still holding fort. I just wanted to show you just about how bad it was last week. So there's a tweet right here. This was the largest 10 performance of top 10 largest companies last week. So this is just last week alone. So check out some of these missteps. You know, Microsoft 5, Apple 6, Nvidia 14, Alphabet kind. So why I'm bringing this up is because I do think it's important that we realize, first, the Berkshire up. We talked about the diamonds. I already talked about that 2 podcasts ago, actually. Eli Lilly, TSMC, and Broadcom. So in a day where we're trying to battle back, if there's going to be like a big market move, you know, like Alphabet was only down 2% last week. So none of these companies reported. I shouldn't say none. Maybe there's one, TSM. So, yeah. But other than that, everything is still to go. We don't even have Netflix on here. Obviously, they were down last week as well, so that should have been included here probably. But this just pretty nasty movements down on the largest. I guess it's because it's the largest mega cap names. That's why Netflix isn't on here. But it's nasty. You could include AMD and all that kind of stuff. But the idea here is Alphabet down 2%. Oh no, hopefully I just minimized that. And then you're seeing today as well, Alphabet, I don't know, is it leading? I mean, what was, Meta was still, Meta had that flash up, so that's 1%. Apple today, well, we know Nvidia's leading, but just out of all of these, Apple, so there you go. So just to pick some of the major cap names, Microsoft, yeah. So you just go back to the one that was the strongest last week, so Google. So that's kind of the work, and I'm a little bit upset because I don't have it on here. That's some of the work that I like to do, is look for relative strength and weakness. And then if you like the logs, which is why I have Snapchat written on here as a log. Now this will be an L. It's unbelievable where it went. We have the bottom of the day. But again, I feel like we were right, but not. So if you don't make money, you're not right. That's Snapchat, and then Mara was the other one. And again, the Mara one really had nothing to do with market at all. Just the halving and Bitcoin holding up, and we wanted Mara. So that's going to be a good name for us. We'll have to wait to see if that continues, as here we come right back in for the TQs. So where will Microsoft be on Friday? I mean, that's a good question, and if we knew that answer, then I'd give it to you, but I don't. So I'm hoping that it's still listed.
What? Oh, come off, still listed.
I mean, obviously it's going to be.
No, obviously it's listed. Just a couple of things here. I want to talk about.
It's not going nowhere.
Kinzuka Ushi just said your favorite boxer of all time is Roberto Duran. My favorite boxers were like my dad was a huge Sugar Ray Leonard fan, and so like Hagler, Hearns, Leonard, like those guys fighting. Because they just went back and forth. It was unreal to have 3 guys at their prime at that same time. But one of the reasons why I like Floyd is because of kind of how things ended for Sugar Ray Leonard. Like watching him at the end of his career, like I remember watching one of his fights where he was just getting beaten up when he was old. And my dad was like legitimately, like it was hard to watch. Like this was like my dad's hero. He's getting destroyed in this fight. And you could tell it's like he didn't want to see this guy basically getting pummeled, and that's what I loved about watching Floyd. I'm like, you know what? Like, here's a guy who not only, like, he's going in there, and boxing, you're supposed to get destroyed, and he's able to do it without taking the big hits.
Right.
Which is amazing to do. Imagine stepping in the ring without having to take the big hits. And I actually, like, a lot of the way I look at risk to reward and trading and life in general, I'm realizing might have something to do with that. Also, my dad wouldn't let me box. Like, he loved boxing, but he was like, you're never doing it. I'll never want you doing it. And I remember being a kid being like, come on, man, like it's so cool. But now I kind of get what he was talking about with that, with like CTE and all that stuff. But Ford, you want relative strength? This is relative strength today. 6% up, and we rag on this stock a lot. But Ford bounced nicely off the 200-period moving average here and cleared the 50. And with this move up, I think it's got room to 14. If we do, presuming at this point, hey, we're going to close above 1250, there's only 55 minutes. If Ford were to drop under 1250 today, that's a pretty outsized move for Ford in 1 hour. So I think that's unlikely. But I think I'm going to be looking for longs in this till about $14. That's a great breakout trade. So all you're looking for is continuation above 1250. So Ford, that's going to be on the board. Affirm, just go back to the trades that we're actually in. So far, so good for that one. But the bounce right back into the high. So I'm looking for a lower high. Reload this around the same price we got, the 32.10. Watch out for the chip names. I might not reload Intel because I think Nvidia could break 800 again. This is Nvidia. Don't want to reload a chip unless Nvidia is failing, and Nvidia is right here cresting that 800 level for the second time today. Actually, check that, third time today. That's a couple. This break here, that break there, those are just dark pool wicks. So 800 on Nvidia could be a little bit of something. The other one would have been AMD and 150, which I don't think we've had a chance at yet, but this could come into play as well. So if we're breaking that 800 on Nvidia, that 850 short on AMD will be in play. Shout out to you. Appreciate you there. Golden Crest Financial, we appreciate the super chat.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Look, man, I repeat myself for a very good reason. And it's all good. You repeat yourself multiple times a day regarding key trading skills. Please don't stop. Some need it drilled in their brain. So the reason why I do this is for me. Actually, I trade buyouts on the side. How many times a day do I talk about a single mistake of, oh, I'm averaged into this when the market's doing this, I got in too early. Sean knows. I probably say it so many times he's like, shut up, Neil, you say it all the time. But I say it to myself because it's necessary. Because you always know internally what's the thing that I have to correct. And so that I'm always sort of saying that over and over again. I had a coach when I couldn't shoot foul shots. He was like, you repeat some certain things about your mechanics in your head as you're going through the foul shot. And I went from a 50% shooter to 80%, which was necessary because if you can't make a foul shot, you're in trouble. But that's why we do it. And I appreciate the super chat, but we're here talking you through our trading journey, so hopefully we can help yours. And if it does, great. If it doesn't, I hope you get something out of it and there's entertainment value. There's our trading lessons. There's Sean's trading lessons. There's Adara's trading lessons. There's Sharif's. There's Brendan's as well, Brankel's, Patty Ice, like everybody here on the trading floor. We just want everybody to be able to learn from each other. That's what it's all about. So we appreciate your super chat. Gold Crest. Hopefully you've been trading some gold recently because that's been doing okay. Although still don't know what, I almost said what that, what happened to silver this morning.
Yeah, I haven't looked at that in a minute. We'll look at that come up for the market recap.
And it didn't bounce either, silver.
Yeah, thank you so much, Goldcrest. Very, very nice. And thank you so much for that super chat. It's a great donation. Thank you so much.
I'm going to buy some gloves with that.
It does mean a lot, for sure. All right, so we just got another piece out there at 30s. I mean, it fell in for the TQs. We're going to hold out on that and see if we can get some more action into that name. Looking for some more plays, though. As we go, DraftKings just popped up again. We can look at DraftKings. If there's any name you guys want, we have Nucor coming tonight. If we have the earnings board, I can quickly do that. I also have the earnings board as well. Actually, you know what we didn't look at today? Didn't Verizon report earlier today before market open? Verizon down 5. Oh, that's too bad. They were getting a nice little bump up there. On the daily for Verizon. Okay, here we go. Cliffs. Okay, we like that one there. We've talked about some copper plays. You can't see because I can't see the other side of this, unfortunately. Nucor, Globe Life. Oh, I talked about that on one of the podcasts as that name got absolutely killed. That's another one coming through tonight. All right, not much else, man. Looking forward to tomorrow then. We've got GM. Neil mentioned Ford there. PepsiCo on some nice runs as well. And then Freeport-McMoRan with copper. Look, man, some nice ones. Nice industrial names coming, including, you just saw there, and GE as well coming. Oh, yeah, there's lots of names tonight. And then the one I didn't see on there that maybe was Nucor. So Nucor, again, a big steel name. We talked about where this name looks and where this is possibly going here. It's had a pullback. It's at the 50-period moving average. You can look at U.S. Steel. We see that deal is sort of being blocked there with Nippon as President Joe Biden, sorry, goes through there. That was just a hip-hop reference that probably no one. Anyways, 190 right there, 188. looks like the dip there. Nucor's already been hit to the downside, but what a performer this one's been. I mean, you want to talk about how some of these industrials have really gone crazy. Steelmaker, 202 there. So as they make America great again by building all this infrastructure, you see Nucor definitely capturing some profits or capturing some tailwinds of that. So Nucor tonight coming through. We'll see where they can report. Again, I'm not expecting too much. The average move for Nucor right there as of last time, we have the expected move here is 3.5. Sorry, the last move was 4.5. There's Nucor right here. So the last move, as you could see, was 3.5%. Expected move now 4.5. The big movers there, MedPlace. Here's that GL. I think that was the Globe Life, I think, GL.
Oh, goodness, that's...
yeah, we talked about this on the podcast, and it's getting killed. And there it is, boom, to the downside. But a nice little move back there in insurance. We'll see if that can go well. And then GE, our charts are going to be kind of a hot mess for this. But at the end of the day, GE has made a nice move. So there's that just, again, it's just because of the spinoff. But GE has really pulled back a little bit from that 160 marker all the way to the downside into 147 or so. So watch out for some of this. Geo Aerospace was just spun off. I said DraftKings before, and then we sort of started talking about earnings. But again, this name is still up that 1%, and it's hovering right around VWAP. So 41 isn't horrible for a long. We've sort of danced around this area. We've seen the action there. Break lower, break higher, retest now. So watch out for DraftKings possibly catching a little bit of a bid here off 41. My thing is that I still am looking for lower. So we took out some more TQs. Let's see if this market wants to give it up. We're still under the 50 period. I'm not going long. I'm trying to hold shorts. Yeah, go.
Okay, no, I went over there to refill my water. I was actually talking for a quick second to Branko, the floor manager. Were you guys talking about hip hop? Like, why is everyone talking about Joe Budden? I haven't heard. I think he has a daughter that does music, but I was a Joe Budden guy. But
he has that Coy Leroy or whatever?
You guys were talking. You were talking about Joe Budden?
Yeah, Benzino. Yeah. Coy
Leroy. Oh no, it's Benzino. Joe Budden was legit, man.
I said Joe Budden because she said Joe Biden, and then so I was just like, But you weren't here. So I don't know. I wasn't sure if anybody else got it. And I didn't even check the chat. So I guess people got it. So. I don't know.
The only politics I care about is when are we going to vote in President Camacho? Let's go.
Hector?
That's where we're headed. Well, you haven't seen Idiocracy, which I think is I think it's a great movie. It's very, it's pretty lowbrow.
Yeah, okay.
It's the other Wilson brother, not Owen.
Luke.
Luke Wilson.
Luke. Is it Luke?
Yeah, it's Luke Wilson. It's hilarious. It's absolutely hilarious.
Didn't Luke Wilson? Well, Luke Wilson played football.
There is a Luke Wilson, but not.
There is a Luke Wilson that played football.
Yeah, wasn't he a tight end for Seattle or something?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking about.
No, but the Owen Wilson's brother.
Okay, just a fluke that it's same name.
Yeah.
Okay, because sometimes it's so confident about it, but then I'm thinking about a football dude.
Speaking of tight ends, I'm just throwing this out there for absolutely no particular reason.
I've already told you though, because I'm trying.
With the NFL draft sort of at the end of this week, I think we should all take the time to recognize the fact that if you don't have a fantasy, if you don't have a tight end in fantasy, a quality one, it's essentially like not having a trading plan. And I think when you're devoid of one, your fantasy team should probably try to acquire.
Remember, my tight end's going to be an IPO, remember? It's going to be Brock Bowers.
I'm trying to make a trade.
I'm IPOing Brock Bowers.
Very slowly. Once a week, you'll hear me say it on the show, and I'm just wearing him down.
And I'm IPOing Malik Neighbors. Oh yeah, that's right. We have some practices on the long weekend.
One more thing here.
Or do you guys think it's going to be Marvin Harrison, Malik Neighbors, or that Roma Dunze?
Where do you pick?
3.
Oh, you're going to get Neighbors then.
Yeah. Oh no, I'm getting Neighbors.
It's going to go Williams.
Or if not, I'll take
Williams
Caleb.
1,
right?
Harrison 2. So it's going to go that way.
Yeah.
If you're watching the NFL draft, I always find it a lot of fun. But it's a lot like long-term trading.
I need to find
the
odds.
In long-term trading, how many people actually beat the market? And then, long-term investing, I should mean. In long-term investing, how many people actually beat the S&P 500 return? You look at all the experts in their mock drafts. I don't even bother with that stuff. It's if trying to actually predict where each individual guy is going to go is ridiculous.
I think once you get past the top 10, so many people slip that it's one person slipping can change the whole trajectory
it's
of the draft.
What's your IPO's predicted price?
What's my IPO prediction price on what stock? On StubHub? I think StubHub. I think it's
Yeah,
gonna be a good
StubHub.
IPO.
Do we have a date for that?
No.
Oh, okay.
This Perplexity won't show me the odds of. I think it's still Caleb going 1, isn't it?
Oh, it's got to be. It's not. That's
Because the Bears traded Fields. Yeah.
It's got like you're not getting paid anything to bet on Caleb going 1 at this point. You want to make money like.
Well, plus they signed Keenan Allen, so they're not going to take Marvin.
They're not doing that.
Yeah. Okay.
Some of the more fun bets are like how many wide receivers are going to go in the first.
Those are
Instead
the
of trying to
ones.
pick exactly where guys going to go,
It's gonna be 3 in the top 10.
Yeah, 3 inside. I think you'll have 5 wide receivers are going to go.
Roma Dunze.
Dunze is underrated, man. He just produces.
No on my NFL draft platter. No. Yeah. All right.
We talking about food? I could eat.
I don't know. The wife always prepares something. Maybe I'll get her to prepare something for NFL draft. I think that'd be kind of fun.
We'll do. My wife she makes chili.
Yep.
For like sometimes Bills playoffs or like the Super Bowl.
Right.
But for an NFL draft, she's like no, because she'll watch the NFL. But she's like, you're watching, and there's like you're watching the teams pick.
Yes, it's
the
actually
players.
more fun.
Does anybody play? I'm like no, and so they're just talking about it. I'm like yes.
I find it more fun than the game sometimes.
I can't go that far.
You know, the draft is really interesting. I don't know.
No, I love watching the
It's
draft.
huge ratings.
I don't know that it's better than watching like an actual game. I love the game.
Yeah,
Would you go to an NFL draft?
No, it's probably to go there. It's probably no.
Okay, how about I'm gonna frame it this way. So now I know the answer is gonna be yes. How do you get Sean to say yes to something? If the NFL draft was held in Green Bay, would you go?
No.
Oh, like exactly. See,
No, I know it has nothing to do with where it's held. I think I don't know how exciting it is. I'd actually rather go to New York. What am I going to do in Green Bay? Just chill out? There's nothing to do there. I'm going there to watch the Packers.
I've never
See,
been.
that's the difference. Like, I think I'd go to Vegas was where the NFL draft was.
I'll go to Vegas for a lot of
They
it.
shouldn't always have it at Vegas, but that looked like a lot of fun.
How about we do the
$1.63.
market's really not doing much of anything.
Like, Mara,
I did
come
just get a
on.
fill at the low 40s in Intel, but that's like 5 cents in the money. Like, look at how tight that range is. So I'm not trying to force anything, except for the fact that we should be doing a meetup in Vegas. I think that's worth. You don't want to force trades, but you do want
Yes,
to
man,
force.
I'm just waiting for you to tell me the date.
Good ideas. Tell you the date.
Yeah, I thought you were organizing the thing. That's what I'm trying to get
The
at. I
big
need to
problem is
log
we're
into
not
my
supposed to
WhatsApp.
ever take time off at the same time. So it's like you basically.
We're doing live from Vegas, remember?
So we'd have to find like a long weekend or something, because literally we've been told we're not allowed to have. We're not supposed to be off at the same time. That's why you never see it. We did it one time on opening day in the afternoon because we both wanted to be at the Jays game, and apparently it wasn't received all that well. I thought it was okay. Riot's moving. You're already in Mara, so let's have a look at Riot here. We'll look at anything. Still higher and higher and higher, but very gentle upward trend. Like if you look at this, like it's non-parabolic since earlier in the day. Like since about 1050, that's a pretty solid and general trend to the upside. Nothing to fade there. I think when you try to make fades against the grain, you fade big moves like that. You fade big moves like that, at least attempt to. These small consolidated moves, unless they're at a monster resistance level, I don't want to touch them. We talk about that all the time. Like, what's your setup for going against the grain? Monster level, or it just goes too far too fast. So for a firm, the reason I like it is it's at what I think is a big level, so you short that. And it had made a pretty big run going into it. Just no reloads yet. Adara?
Thank you to our sponsors, Kalshi. Have you ever wanted to trade on events that directly relate to companies and the economy? Kalshi is the first legal financial exchange in the US where you can bet on any event. Ever wondered if TikTok will be banned, how many cars Tesla will ship this quarter, or what a new movie's Rotten Tomato score will be? Now you can use Kalshi to put your predictions to the test and trade on what you really know. Visit Kalshi.com to sign up today and grab a $20 bonus after depositing $50 exclusively for the first 500 people using promo code TraderTV. It's easy to get started. Just choose an event like the whether Boeing will have a new CEO this year, currently priced at 76%. Buy 100 shares at 76 cents each, and if Boeing announces a new CEO by the end of the year, you can cash out $100 on your $76 bet. Don't just watch the news, profit from it. Join Kalshi's 100,000 users and dive into diverse markets. Make your moves and potentially profit from global events. Kalshi.com.
All right. Thank you, Miss Adara.
And we were just talking about some of like the random bets that you like that are fun to put on. Oh, like there it is right
Oh,
there.
you can do likes to the $50 bet for the $50 super chat. Oh, that's cool. We have 13 likes.
You can like a super chat? That's new.
Yeah, that's new, I feel like.
Hold on a second. No, that doesn't make any this makes no logical sense, YouTube. You know why this doesn't make any sense? Like you should only like a super chat. Like that's
What do you
it's a
mean?
default. It's like default. Like it should just automatically.
there's no
be
down.
Like I know there's no down, but it's like everybody should
down.
like it. Who wouldn't like?
By the way, the market's
It's
cranking.
about time.
All right.
So finally,
yeah.
the Rock has come back to.
Face slap. Finally, the market has come back to reality. All right, back to the downside right now. There it is. It's a big one here. It's literally a day saver for me, or else it would have been heck of a lot worse. There it comes down. It is the TQs.
Puff out his chest a little bit.
Yeah, well, the Bears still not puffing that much because
No, they are now. See, look at
they're
that.
trying.
Heads up.
Okay, yeah, they're doing it, but they might lean back there a little too much. All right, shout out to the triple Qs as we're starting to go lower here. I mean, now we can just hold into the close in case we are really right. Unfortunately, ARM is my number. Not unfortunately, I have no. Actually, now it's easy, man. Now it's TQs. TQs are is my number one stock here today. Remember, this Mara, I was going to take it out on a break of 17. I still think that's fine. We may just choose the top here to get some out around 1740. I think that makes a little bit of sense for me to do that. But the net is really getting juiced up here because we are starting to go to the downside. We did see a rejection of VWAP for Tesla. So I'd still like to hold this, but I think that's fool's gold. 140, 150. Let me just see. We've done really well on Tesla. Like 140, that's not even low enough. We can get lower. If we can get down into that's still 141. What level is that? 140. Yeah, that's 141. All right, 141, like 140, 150. If we can break that, that will be a break of VWAP rate. Oh, no, actually, that's his rate where VWAP is. Okay, I'm going to take this because I was already thinking about this level, 141. And then right there is like 141.16. So I was upping it anyways. Let's just do that, 141.50. If we get that fill, let's take a VWAP fill on Tesla because the market is what's going to sort of lead me the rest of the way. We only have 20 minutes until imbalances come out, 27 minutes. So I'm pretty happy with this take. Nice downside move there on the TQs. DraftKings possibly already broke. No, so it's right there. So that, yeah, it did already break. So remember we were talking about this. Didn't break that much, goes down to the 200. I'm going to try to stay short, but that's not bad. Intel.
I'm thinking
You're not
AMD.
Intel. Oh, you already are Intel.
I mean, Intel just gave me a couple. Like, at the same time, remember Intel's got a really tight range. It's like 54 at the top and 38 at the bottom. It's like 15 to 16 cents unless you're getting absolute perfect. Oh, on that one. I'm going to sneeze. Fight it. Okay, not going to sneeze. AMD, we didn't get a shot at 150. If you got in early, you got a shot at it, so fair enough. If you're short 149.5, congratulations on AMD. That's where we were short before. Maybe we shouldn't have waited for 150, but if it's going to trend into VWAP, there's a lower high in here that we can have a take at off the 149 level. So I think that's going to be very much in play. The futures are making a lower high. We like the fact that it rejected in front of 149.5, but if I get in front of 149, that's not a hold till the high of the day kind of trade. Because if I'm shorting the lower high, I'm getting out if it breaks like 49 teens. And then it's a separate trade if it goes to 150. There's still enough time in the day that you can get a nice pop and retrace into VWAP, which is something that I like. Nvidia is continuing to roll down. Affirm, I see no reason to take. I didn't get the reload, try to grab it in here and missed. So unless it bounces up and gives me the fill there, it's bouncing off 31.8. Well, I already took profit there. I want this breaking this flat bottom at 31.8. Might be worth an add a little bit tighter at 32 and not wait for above 32 on a firm. So I would look to reload that trade. It's just been these two. Thoughts on Coinbase, Street Alchemy. I wanted to break out of the top. I actually just canceled that order. It's 324. You see it pull back. It would have to run $4 now, which is 1.5% to even get to that break. It's one thing when it's looking strong to go into the break and there's some time. But when you pull back like this, I can't imagine it getting to 228, then I still like the long trade. So maybe tomorrow. for Coinbase. I still like the notion of this breakout on Coin, but that's the thing of a breakout trade. If it never goes through that level, then I sit there and stare at it, and you might miss some shorts. It's all in the game. We never went long Rivian off the $10 level, but when it finally broke that $10 short, it was easy to 950. So that's what I'm looking for Coinbase. I think you can make a nice move off 228.
You know what? All right, I'm just gonna get out right now on Mara. I'm not. I just can't. Oh, we didn't get it. Ugh. Okay, I was just gonna get out now. I'm like thinking this is breaking right here. I see some chatter in the chat that about some crypto and stuff like that. So I'm just going. No, there's nothing happening. But I'm just going to get out here because if we break lower than this, I'm thinking the futures are now. Remember when we were up here? And this is when I was trying to justify the short that I had, which has been justified. Obviously, it's working now. We're 50 cents in the money, NPL1 on it. It's just like this move right here for NASDAQ. Like if we drop out, then I really think this could get going. So let's take out some Mara if we can, or the rest of it at the level here. But yeah, this could fall. So this is kind of like what we're waiting for. And then remember when we talked about this is the stuff that I study is just visually. I don't have a fib on this, or I should get like a retracement tool or something to see how far away this is as a percentage or something. But at the end of the day, I don't remember seeing this far away to the upside on VWAP in a long time for the future. So maybe I could be wrong, but that was a nice move up there on a 1 minute chart. Thankfully it faded out, and we also got matched with 17.4, which was nice. So, you know, we chose that, and that turned out to be a decent little level for us there on the mark. So yeah, so far so good here as we just sit around and wait for a closing trade to come through.
Oh, CompSRX has something.
What is he like, BTC 50?
No, PDD is almost 10% up. But it's where the stock is on the 15-minute. I mean, if the market's going to pull back, it's almost 330. Look what happened the last time Pinduoduo was at $124. That was the start of, in 4 days, down to 111, and that day it dropped like $6. Also, look at what it looks like on the daily chart. Okay, fine, you're making a bit of a wedge, but last time I checked, wedges have resistance and support levels. So you look at that at 124, 125. That's a good-looking level. Usually, you know what? I just finished saying I don't like shorting. I like the level, but I don't like against the trend when it's that linear to the upside. Like generally, I want to get into a short that's trending like this with a big push up that overextends into 224, then on the way back down. So I like the level CompSRX, but it violates like a trading style or an entry point that doesn't work. Because I find like I'd just be sitting in here waiting for something to happen with a stop higher, and we can't swing trade it. Like if you were, it's a bit different if you're, I'm gonna hold it overnight or hold it into the aftermarket or whatever, but we have like 20 minutes for this to work. And it's not really giving you that big push up to be able to fade. Might have a better chance getting more affirm here. So I'm gonna just try to short the pop here and affirm. I think that can break down as well. Just a bit better of a setup because it's already showing me the lower highs as opposed to still trending up.
All right, shout out to Day Trader Cut in the chat there. I just responded to you on Twitter. All right, slid into the DMs there. I know you're already in Intel. I'm trying to find names that, oh, we got out of Mara. Okay, sorry, my bad, didn't cover that. Oh, shoot. All right, well, we got out there at 20s, now it's at 30s. So good trade for us on Mara, obviously, there, as it will be a red. It's a nice day. I don't know why we said red. This will be a green name for us today. Well green. And again, it'll be my second P&L name. We do have, I think, no, that's not right. TQs, ARM, then this. Lost first, found the 50 period, and boom to the upside. Since then, there's been no worries. It's kind of similar to this TQs trade, you know, like it lost it off the open, and then as soon as you took that 50 period, although if you got out on a 50 period retracement back, that still would have been about 70 or 80 cents, but at the end of the day, there's the move up and there's the break lower. Now we're starting to trend lower here. 50 period finally, since the morning, now finally starting to slope down. So that's why we're in this. We've been taking out a lot of trades here on the TQs as we wait for that, but that's just an example right there.
Only because you said that.
Of a name getting going. And look how garbage Tesla is at the 50-period moving average. So some of them are going to follow it on some days and some aren't. More of a trend indicator.
I don't use Fibonacci's. I'm just going to get that out of the way. But only because you said it. If you actually do bottom to top on the Qs, which I mean the TQs will probably do exactly the same thing, this bounce is off the first retracement level. if you use the bottom and the top and want to draw it that way, like you do have like that 419 and a half. Looks like it would be a spot. But again, I don't use them. I find that here's what you'll find interesting. When you're using a tool to trail out of winning trades, you're probably going to find that it's fantastic because every single indicator it gives you is taking profit, right? So it's like, you're going to look, even when it's like, that wasn't the ideal out, but you still made money on it. So you're going to really, really like using tools to give you those outs. Just keep that in mind. So use whatever you use. I've dabbled with Fibonacci's. I am not a huge fan of them overall. I never really found anything that works. I think way back in the day when I was trading a lot of penny stocks early in my trading career, I know there was a few people that I knew that traded penny stocks that lived by Fibonacci's. That's the only reason I looked at them. I just could never find anything that was better than just flat out support and resistance. Because the same thing, you know what? Let me finish the thought, man. Like that same Fibonacci level, like this, like right in here, that pullback, the first pullback. Like, if you're long this stock or looking to buy a dip, once it does this, do I really need that level to tell me, or is it already or is the price action and support and resistance telling me the same thing? You know, so I think you're already getting the confluence you need when you just look at that chart. That said, it's 3:30. I'm going to give a quick look. If I don't get refilled on the short of a firm, fair enough. But I want to look at some individual names here for you on the imbalances. Oh, absolutely nothing. Early look. Oh, that's right. You know what? This is my bad. For the last 2 or 3 sessions, we have not been getting the early look on individual names. So until we get that back, this will be blank until 3:50. That's my bad. I forgot they were having issues starting last week. So we're only going to have the imbalances at 3:50. No early look on individual names.
Uber moving around a bit here. Uber's starting to go to the downside. It's not doing a whole heck of a lot here. Here's Uber. I was looking at it because I was looking at Tesla. I'm still interested in this because we're at 70. So this is an interesting level there, 68 and change. I mean, this has been a name that before this sort of epic fall in the market, I was raising some cash and we're still sitting on a decent amount of it to see, like, it's not that much, like 15% or so, just to see if, you know, some of these names came back to some levels here. But now that I've seen, okay, come on, futures. Now that I've seen what Netflix is doing on, this is day 2. I have to make sure I go to NQ. So we had a big move down, or day 3 actually for earnings. My bad. Because yeah, it wasn't Friday, it's Thursday. Wait a minute, when was Netflix's earnings? Yeah, it was Thursday, right? Yeah, so Thursday, Friday, so Friday, and then today, you know, despite the market being up that 1.2%, Netflix just getting off the ground right now. So, I mean, maybe we probably did this, flush down to 540. You know, if this was going to be a red day in the market, how low was Netflix actually going to go today? I mean, try 490, try 500. We talked about where the anchored VWAP is. So yeah, nice push down here for Netflix as the anchored VWAP off that bottom is 500. So I still feel like this is coming lower here, and watch out below because Netflix is in the problems. What's up, Cal? She hit that QR code right there. Who's reporting today after the bell? Well, that is a very, very good question. We do
Great
have
question. Great question.
We have the earnings board. We can get that in a minute if you want. But right here, just let's have a quick look at this. Aftermarket. So you can just go to the screen if you want.
That's cool too.
Rameen's, we'll talk about her after. All right, right here. Cadence Design, CDNS right now with a $77 billion market cap. So there's that one. There's Nucor, we talked about that aftermarket, but there's not a whole heck of a lot.
Don't sleep on
as we go Brown and Brown there. I'll cue to this for a second. Equity Life Props. And then as Rameen said, let's cue to earnings because here we go. All right, so there's Cliffs. So some of these names are going to be.
I thought Cliffs was in the morning.
It says aftermarket, so I see that aftermarket as well. But yeah, so only 10 billion. That's an average move from last time, 6.5%, expecting 7% on Cliffs. So potentially something there. Yeah, Globe Life is the big expected move, 17% for GL. So watch out for those.
That's because of
Yeah, they had some sort of a report last week where they're an insurance company. So, all right, so we'll do that. I'm going to prepare the closing show.
It was the short seller report that from Fuzzy
That's
Bear?
what it was. It was, no. Fuzzy Panda.
Oh, Fuzzy Panda, that was it.
You know those candies, the Fuzzy Peach?
We were just like, are you kidding? Like, never even heard of them.
Shout out to Sales Guy. We should get Fuzzy Peach to sponsor the show. You know.
Getting sponsored.
We get some, you know, put like a bowl of candies here. We can like
That's the whole problem.
review the candies. Oh, by the way, here we
I
go.
have no problem with the taste test. Let's get VWAP.
Yeah, we are now in the money on this, probably about 100 handles. So there it is right now. Let's go bye-bye to the TQs. Yes, sir. All right. This is a monster move, man. This is the move that we all were talking about. Here's the push. Back down. It is a monster move. This is over at 1.5%. I mean, or sorry, full 0.5%. Because this is that level that we're talking about shorting right up here. We were up 1.5% on the NASDAQ. Now you're falling into the close. Finally, the roost has come home and get some pay dirt for TQQ. So I'm going to put another bid out here. I mean, whatever, man. I'll just keep on catching these falling knives. If we get back into VWAP, then wow, what a trade that has been. But there's the TQQs. Yes. So big, big save here in the afternoon off that one. Hey, Kyle, you want hot dog dance? Shout out to Maple Leaf Wieners.
That's right.
Shopsies, that's who it is. We'll have to find out if they have
There
a
you
sticker.
go.
We'll get some.
There you go.
Get some hot dogs sponsor the show.
That's what it's all about. You got to find those moves wherever they lie. The futures are pulling back. The NASDAQ wants that 1% under. Oh, we should have done a poll with a NASDAQ close over 1%. But I feel like if we did it now, everyone's just going to
I know where I would have been on that.
No point. I probably would have bet the under because I feel like, how good do you feel not taking profits on a rally like this after what happened last week? That's just me. But I always like to put myself in this. Like, put yourself in the person that's long and having to think about whether they want to swing a massive win buying Monday morning, going into Tesla earnings tomorrow, and then Google. Like, it all, like, you got that gauntlet to run this week. Like, do you really not want to bank your profit? So that'd be my take. I'm gonna trail out. I'm gonna trail out a firm. It's pulled back nicely into 31.7, which is oddly enough exactly 1%. But if it breaks back above 31.85, I'm just going to get out. I don't think we get VWAP, but I think we can get 31.50. Intel's a much tighter range, as I've shown you, but it did pull back into VWAP. So it goes about 15 cents. It's like half a point there. Not nearly as good. Kyle Burdett, will the SPY get under 0.5%? Over under? It's way too late in the day to actually put a poll up. But, I mean, it could. It just feels like it's going to run into overnight. Come to the chart for a second. Like, I just feel like we're going to run into potentially like overnight highs and resistance turning into a bit of a support at the close. Just kind of like a technical thing there. So I just got out of a firm, which means it likely trailed back out above 80. So we take it 32 change into 31.8. It's a strong stock, but I just liked where the resistance was. It could not break those highs, but we're going to jump out of it, hold Intel, see how far that one happens to go down. Comp SRX saying Apple apparently not having a good day or Apple a good afternoon. It never got to VWAP in time. It's now 338. Like, even if we get there, it's going to be like 350 by the time this thing gets to VWAP, and then I'm putting on a trade into the last 10 minutes, which I'm not a huge fan of. I'd rather take that bounce where it has a chance to go. But that's all right. Like, if you're patient about it, like, really just put on 2 shorts. They'll both end up working out. And I'd rather that than put on 20 trades and then try to figure out which one's going to go or which one's not going to go. Coinbase 228 break's going to have to wait till tomorrow. That's one I like. Comp SRX, congrats on the AMD trade to the south side. So the shorts did end up working out. AMD, the thing about, remember AMD is very much not like other things.
Right.
AMD is one bad day from not only the 200 period moving average, but like that move will then be like, I think it's like 35%.
Annihilation.
Well, it's not annihilation. Well, if you bought 220, it's kind of like.
Well, maybe I'm being a bit dramatic.
No, but it's like annihilation if you bought it up here at 210.
Right.
But that's a hefty pullback. We just talked about Nvidia going into correction territory. This is 30% plus. I don't know what the exact math is there. This high is 215. What are we at? 150. So actually, that's pretty much exactly 30%. So over 30% pullback, and you're at the 200 period moving average on AMD. If Intel doesn't completely crap the bed, maybe the 200 period's good here for AMD.
Yeah, potentially. We are hoping that the futures continue to do that to the bed because we are starting to get low. So another fill rate there. I'm going to put one at 50s. I didn't think we'd get here, honestly. Like as we get better and better with trading the futures, we'll have to just start to believe that some of the things that we're looking at on equity side. I just started trading the futures, really. Obviously, Arun's no longer here. He hasn't traded in probably a couple years, maybe. I can't remember last time he traded. I was here last summer, and he hadn't traded for a minute then. But there it is, down to the downside. Very hard to trade the futures as well. Stephanie's not here, Arun's not here. But there's a nice move down, 50.75 right there. So let's see. We'll cover a little bit, then we'll go down into VWAP, and we'll see what happens right there, down to 50.41 right now. So a nice move, man. Yeah, fish in a barrel right here today for the short. Tesla as well, finally starting to make a move down. I thought I had a bid here, but that must have canceled. So let's do that again right now. Sometimes when the market's kind of going crazy, I'll just cancel everything and then regroup based on where the stocks are going. I feel like that's always been a decent strategy for me. So we do not have this bid here. I think we might as well put it. As Neil's mentioned, and I've mentioned, we have those imbalances coming out right now. So that level for Tesla looks pretty decent. We'll just let this market continue to fall down. I don't have much else as far as market trades are concerned right here, other than what we have, of course. So we'll just continue to sit here, see if it will work out for us. It's Tesla, and that's what we're trying to get out of. So we'll see. Right now, so far so good. Tesla downside, market downside, and we're waiting to see what happens here into the close.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's what it's all about here. Like you basically just found a couple of shorts that have been able to work out here. Well, you could have picked your spots on just about anything, but you had to pick the ones that you liked, and then you're good to go. Anything to the long side, like you could have had some opportunities really early in the session, but now you're starting to bounce off look, I'm seeing things bounce off VWAP, including Intel. I got rid of those wicks, and everything worked out. I'm happy because sometimes when I do that, it's like they just come right back and I can't show you the chart. But I can now show you the Intel chart without a wick that's making everything look distorted. So it's been bouncing off VWAP. And when this happens, when we short it before, take a bunch out there, get out off VWAP, and then reload off the high. I'm not all out of VWAP, but I am going to get out if it goes above like this 45. So you had a bit of an inside day on Intel, which is fine, 34 to 34.5. I feel like you could have a little bit more of that because they report this week. So, they've had I don't want to say the worst of it. That's probably not whoops. Oh, that's right. I have to do this. So you see me. I like Windows Extended Desktop because then I can do this and then slide things over when I want to show you a daily chart. They might have had the worst of it on Intel, and it might start to go sideways because this, like AMD, is over 30% down from the highs. So you have had a bit of a nasty move. I could see you not breaking a 32 until after they report. As a matter of fact, if I see 32 before they report, I'll probably be looking for a long there. They report Thursday, I believe. We'll be talking about Intel. And when you get to that point, all bets are off. It could go 10% in either direction. I just remember the last time thinking it was like the worst report. It was nasty, and then the stock went higher. And I was like, and it was part of the reason why I was selling off that top. I'm like, why is it even up here? Yeah, this could be a 10% mover, but I like 32 before they report. Support level like that after move down like this, I'd be surprised if it were to break. Nvidia's bouncing at 790. Well, I'll be trailing out of Intel in 5 pennies here. It's not a big range anyways. Wow, Nvidia is strong today. I know the reason I didn't go long Nvidia again. No, this move down here completely put me off of going long Nvidia today. Like I had the breakout trade, it did the trend reversal, and the last few times it's failed a breakout like this, it's just trended down. Nvidia always trends, well, recently, when it fails one of those breakouts, like here, another triple top break, dies. Fails a break, dies. Fails a break, ends up not even at the lows, but it certainly doesn't break higher. And then same thing again today. Like it reversed an early breakout, and I'm thinking it's just going to be trend down. Don't look for the long in Nvidia when it does that. So pretty bullish there on Nvidia. Bucked my expectations. This could have been, it could have been a heck of a lot better on Nvidia. I also made a keystroke error, which I mentioned on Nvidia. Like this breakout should have been just as good as the 600. but I actually double barreled this out accidentally on a keystroke. Not much I can do about it, but it could have been a little bit better on Nvidia. Sometimes in the heat of the moment, I had an offer out, thought I didn't, hit offer enter, and it was pretty much at the same price. That's why they're overlapping. But when that happens to you, you just got to be able to live with it.
Yeah, talk about sticking with your sort of your rules and the way you're trying to trade things. I mean, there it is right there for Tesla. I mean, we got that fill. We told you where we were putting it right there at VWAP. We wind up getting it. So far, so good on that take there for Tesla. Now I don't have to worry about it. Like, that was a good out. We'll wait to see if this market wants to continue, but that's a good one for Tesla for sure. I'm pretty happy with the way that one worked out. We have 345, and then we have those imbalances in 5 minutes. All right. Just having a look to see if there's anything else moving around. Disney, again, still just hit a scanner there. Let me see what's going on with Disney. Oh, wow, yeah, that's why. Okay, so right back into the low again. Wow. Talk about, like, reverse V. I guess this almost looks like an N. Just straight to the downside. So, yeah, Disney kind of saying, okay, we're not sure what we want to do right now, but there's a nice pullback in. I'm not going to go long ahead of imbalances, but watch out for this name tomorrow. Again, market up, Disney down, been trading bad. You're under the 50-period moving average. Disney reports. I'm much more relaxed about Disney now because we're able to get some out. Remember how we were sort of like, how high is it going to go? And we were talking to everybody about this. But now, I mean, I would still like it to go higher. That would still obviously be nice. Their reporting date is May 7th. So we still have a while to go. Obviously, short flow was never really an issue with this name, but Disney pulling back quite nicely.
You seen the weekly on this?
If you believe the levels, this might be one. Now, what does the weekly look like?
The weekly on Disney
Pushed off of that?
actually looks like it's still in the earlier stages of an upward trend.
TQ.
You know, like, so here's your, look, the weekly holds the pandemic bottom, breaks the 50 period, kind of, you know, turns right around at resistance on the 200 period, but it's still making higher lows on the weekly. Like, it's a big down move that's only now making the smiley face. Like that, the longer you look at charts, the more you realize, I know it looks like it's a short here to some people, but that actually still feels like it's just making high lows in the upward trend. You said they report on the next month, so like the 7th of May. So you have some time into earnings, but it looks pretty solid. Juxtapose that to, you know, Netflix, which looked like it was due for a pullback. It had already run so high. So with about 3 minutes to go till the imbalances come out, not going to put anything new on. Steph B says, look at SOUN. Oh, I should have looked at this on Friday when Nvidia was getting destroyed. This must have got punked. But 6% to the upside. I mean, these guys had their big run on that Nvidia deal, partnership, whatever news. I forget the exact nature of their contract with them. But 6% up, but let's be real. When Nvidia pulled back a little, this pulled back a lot. But this is, I think, what you're getting at. Pulls right back into like 350 in here. $3 would be ideal. I mean, obviously. But that's your first up day. So with so much room to run, some of these can get really spicy because all it has to do is like make one higher low, get a couple of days running, and it could be at $5. Like the stock went from 10 to 3. It's not much for it to get back to 5. If Nvidia stays strong tomorrow, maybe you're looking at like a 390 break or consolidation off of 350 or something along those lines. It's worth a watch. As long as Nvidia is showing strength, I think it's okay to be looking for longs in this. But when Nvidia is tanking, you don't even want to be on the bid of this thing.
AMD went back to 148.50, bouncing around a little bit. We got a piece out. I'm just waiting for these imbalances there. So they're going to come through in just 2 minutes. And then we should be able to see the market make a little bit of a move. Obviously, it's come back up. So there's our outs. I mean, we got the 200 period. We got even below that. We get another 200 period out right there on the futures as we'll wait to see what comes out next. Yeah, nothing wrong with starting in position in sound. I think that could be a good one there as we'll wait. Again, you want to wait.
Out.
Yeah, you just want to wait for earnings.
Well, $3, because $3 looks like an out. So when you have an out in a small cap, you know what you're doing. It's like you're just looking for the ramp job and you actually have a stop.
66.4, yeah. All right, so we should still be long Mara. Mara broke the 50. I'm still waiting for this to hit. So actually, let's put it up here. Once it hits, we'll go over to it. But there we go. We broke the 50 period. I thought the market was heading lower, which we were right. I mean, you know, this happened. So we'll take money there, but we do give some back. We should still be long Mara. But again, a strong P&L name. I can't hate on this. There's the latest long. That's the second long. We had the first long was here at 16. That didn't work. We got out. So that's about 15 cents worth of a hit. And then this one gives us the juice all the way back up, making about 80 cents, or no, that's 15.80. Sorry, that's out 17.20. So $1.40, my bad, on that one. So that's a good trade for me, $1.40 there on Mara as it gives it back up. So good job, back up to the day's high. We had written this down on the sticky note, but again, should have been longer a little bit earlier, but Mara's still working out today for us, so that's a good one. And here we go with the futures, man. So they're coming in right now on this imbalance. So let's get a quick look just to see where they're going to go in just 5 seconds. These will all come out. Let's see if Mara moves at all. We're in the futures, so we will know pretty much immediately the result of this. So here we go. There it is. Looks like we're starting to push down, obviously, into the NQs. Mara not doing much. There's the TQs as they start to push downside.
Apple's a big sell.
Okay, so Apple's a big sell. Anything else you're noticing?
Apple 1.5 to the sell side. GM 1.8 to the sell side. Palantir 900,000 sell. Morgan Stanley's a buy of 800,000. Lyft 800,000
Okay.
buy. Okay, so it's Amazon's a sell of 700,000. It should be a sell number overall. Yeah, 1.6 billion to the sell side, led by Apple, a little bit of Amazon. Tesla 700,000 to sell. TD, be careful. TD is the biggest imbalance, but it's dual listed, and do not trust. If it's dual listed to Canada, you got to know what it comes out in Canada, because it could be like a buy in New York and then a sell in Canada, and it's completely meaningless when that happens. But mostly to the sell side on those big cap tech names. Tesla for 700,000 is a bit different. Usually Tesla doesn't have big imbalances ever. Yeah, not really doing anything. So it's not like you're getting a move off of this.
No.
I don't see any trades. Unfortunately, sometimes there's a trade there. I'm just going to hang on to Intel in case it breaks this 34.20. Maybe get something out of the quarters, as it's just chilling at VWAP. And usually, even Intel usually has an imbalance. It's got absolutely nothing there today. Oh, yeah, congratulations, 4L-Taz. You actually just won on Streamlabs. I haven't spun that thing in forever. I'm on like a 20-spin losing streak. Although, hey,
Yeah, maybe
it's complete chance, so realistically, your streak means nothing at the end of the day when it comes to that, because that's just like straight up gamble.
Yeah, that is gambling.
And it's all fun. It's just like viewer points. If you're not a subscriber, it's a subs-only chat, and there's some fun things in there that you can do in the chat as well.
For sure.
Let's go 250.
Yeah, let's go. Let's see if we can get this market going a little bit. We just take some out on the TQs. We're not doing anything else. We're just waiting for it. As Neil mentioned, TD is the biggest one on there. Let's just take a look at ARM. We were short. Yeah, okay. I mean, this is my PL1, so well, that would be the futures, but we're already in that. But this is a name that we're looking at one more time here for the closing trade. ARM downside. Let's see if it continues. Whoa. I know you mentioned Apple. We haven't seen that as like a big sell in a long time. So this should send the market absolutely reeling here, and it looks like it is doing that. So here comes the market back in just a little bit for Apple. Yeah, not really a great day for the TQs or for Apple. So there's the sell, 166. Apple's still positive, but that sell is hurting a little bit. Will that be an indication for tomorrow? Possibly. We'll see what tomorrow brings for Apple. And then again, not too many big earnings for tonight. We have CLF on board. Let me see what that's doing right now. Cliffs, we've talked a little bit about the copper space. Heading into earnings, pretty flat, but it's had a nice run, right? Okay, it's pulled back a little bit as well. Nice run for CLF. We'll see if that can hold. We already know that Nucor is coming out as well into the close. Is there a major move?
You still own Nucor?
I have to check. I did sell some Nucor, but
I remember that.
Yeah, I like Nucor, but nice move to the upside right now. 193.50. Again, really working out. Not a big move into the close. So some of these names going to get it all figured out here as we get ready to go. But yeah, so far so good. Nice move down. There it is. So we get that level on the futures. So yeah, it is a plane crash a little bit here into the close for the NQ. And we have it. So there it goes. We had no P&L on this before we went short at 17.4. Now the market's down at 17.38. So good trade here to end the day. With a nice little short, and then we'll see if Tesla, was that a good move or not? Tesla was a good move to get out of as well. And then Mara, I assume with Bitcoin kind of holding, is still doing its own thing. So looks like we'll be okay to get it out on Mara. We got out at 17.20. So far the worst case would be 4.20 cents right now. Pretty happy with the Mara trading. We'll see everybody soon I'm just going to wait to see if the TQs will settle down, and I'm going to go over to the desk.
Yeah, I just took VWAP on Intel. If it's not gonna, it just held there, and we're at 355, where sometimes you get a bit of a reversal. The reason sometimes you get a reversal at 355 is that's a big pairing event for the imbalances for anyone that puts orders into the auction, and they tend to reflect them sometimes at that price. So it kind of bounced off VWAP and I got out. Doesn't mean it doesn't continue lower. It doesn't mean I'm not looking for essentially the same thing. You know, it's a short till it's not, like this stock. Like look at, even when it's gentle, it's still kind of trending you in the right direction. So when you find a resistance level here, you just want to stick to it. That's what it's all about. So CLF, new core on earnings. Tomorrow morning, there's a couple of decent ones tomorrow morning. I think GM and, was it Spotify, right? No, GM was for sure. I don't know why Ford was, by the way, why was Ford up 6% today?
They report later on this week. GM is tomorrow.
GM's tomorrow, but like Ford was abnormally strong, and I feel like there wasn't anything terribly specific with it. That said is what it is. Boeing apparently said it expects slower increase in rate of 787 production and deliveries due to supplier shortages on a few key parts. Remember what I said about Boeing? How like I don't even need to hear good news. I just want to go a week without hearing any bad news.
Yeah.
Like that's almost the reason. Like if I just give me a quarter that doesn't like stink, I just want to see not like anything in there that the analysts can't really harp on, and then just no bad news, and I think the stock is a buy. Just go a week without any bad news. Because look at the consolidation it's doing at the bottom. Like you don't need to be early on this thing. I think when it goes, you're going to see the 200s in maybe 2 quarters because it's been waiting to join some of the party. And it's a bit of a defense play too, which I think can play well in here. I know oil prices go up and all that kind of stuff, but I don't like the airline stocks, but I don't mind these guys if they can make a bit of a bounce. But it's just got to show you something. Like you see a chart like this and you say short till it's not. I'm just waiting for no news and a break of this consolidation higher, and then once you can start showing me an upward trend and there hasn't been bad news in a week or two, then I think you can go okay for the long. But unfortunately, none of that's really come to fruition. Sam saying Boeing more downside.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, like that's exactly what I'm saying. Like I need to see good news. I need to see some higher lows. I'm just waiting for at least one sign and then a second sign, and then you can think about it. But you don't have to be early. You just have to be right at the end of the day, you know? It's more important to be right than perfect in this market. 3 minutes to go here. I'm not putting anything new. Just going to cancel some scripts because you never want those firing off in the aftermarket. Not that it's happened to me, but I say it out loud because it's happened.
Oh, yeah, you can get...
Not that it hasn't happened to you, but there was a trader on the floor.
Oh, it's probably happened to me.
No. Like this, I'm talking like for real. Like it's the one thing if you have something, it's at a price that's so far out that even if you get it, it's probably good because like why would something move that far in the aftermarket? But there was a trader that got triggered in like right at the close on like it was like the Qs or something. It's like, oh, what are you doing? And then something reported and.
All right,
that thing they reported moved the Qs, and that trader got hurt a little bit. Just to take the time, cancel your orders, make sure that you've done everything right, no orders out. 2.5 minutes to go. We're just going to be chilling as Nvidia and the market continue to fall.
We got out of our our TQs right there on the bottom. It just the 355 happened and nothing really flipped over. So we got out. Right there. I'll check quickly on Apple, and then I got to go over to the desk. Join me and Adara today for the close. So that should be fun. That's going to be all new format. We'll have Adara on the desk with me for a minute, and we'll talk to Chris Varley today as well. Not Chris Farley. Chris Varley. I haven't had to double check.
Legends.
I haven't had to. Yeah, I mean, what? Yeah. Okay. I had to double check that with Brendan. I'm like, okay, I always make sure, I got to make sure his name is right, you know? It's because, like, we had Steve Gomez, and I'm always thinking about New Jersey Devil great Scott Gomez every time that happens as well. So, okay, I'm going to move over there so Adara's not so lonely. Only a minute and a half to go, and we will see everybody tomorrow as Apple's still pushing lower, and there goes the futures. So we were dead right about this TQs trade. At 17.4. Let's see if we can be patient with that tomorrow. 17.4, 17.440, the high. So good luck into the close. I'll see everybody later.
Absolutely.
In 1 minute.
I think it's going to be a lot of fun. We did the aftermarket show with Adara. She did a fantastic job. You guys are going to do me always kick butt, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun. The new change, get some perspective in there. We know her trading's been going well. So 1 minute to go. Looks like, well, the question was, would the ES get to 0.5? I believe it was Kyle. The answer will be no. But the NASDAQ did get underneath 1%, which I thought was more of a that was more of a reasonable level to look for a pullback. I didn't think the ES had a chance to get to that 0.5% to the downside. Nvidia is pulling back, but is held 790 again. So, you know, Nvidia still going to end up closing relatively strong here. Pulls back off 800 and it won't even break 790, won't even get to VWAP. And everything else pulled back and is breaking VWAP, at least most of the things I'm looking at. So a lot of times when it's really, really weak and you have a massive down day, you're going to see some relief rally. We talked about this. It was also short sell restricted, which gives a little bit of extra juice to that push up on Nvidia. Is you couldn't remove liquidity off the bid without an uptick. But get it off me. Let's get it on Adara in 3, 2, and 1. There it is. Doing a little bit of everything. Doing the morning preparation, watch list, giving you guys live trades because now it's a second week for Adara Live. Also, giving you guys learn to trade, which I think is always, every single day it gets a little bit better. Like you get new topics that we can all learn from. Doing news in the afternoon, ringing the bell, and now going to do the aftermarket chill there with Sean. Shout out to you, Willis Addison. We appreciate you. Appreciate the super chat. I want to get that in there. Let's go coin into the close. You swung 240 calls into Friday. Good luck with that. I mean, if it breaks at 228, that's a breakout that I'm looking for at some point this week. I think it could easily see 240 if it makes that 228 break. A lot of pent-up anger at 228, and you had some strength, relative strength in BTC and crypto in general, which I think is fantastic. Big shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s. Despite the fact that Ramin was saying that we bully her, which I was doing none of, I just want to point that out. You didn't hear me say a bad thing. I never say anything bad about Ram Ram. Ram Ram brings me treats when she has some, which is very kind and sharing of her, knowing that I will eat anything that is sweet, because that's basically how I roll. But shout out to you guys. Shout out to Brennan as well. Appreciate him every single day getting the news, and I think Adara is doing a fantastic job cluing in. Shout out to Sharif on the midday. You know what's up. We love those lessons. Shout out to all the viewers, especially our regulars that contribute every single day. We love you all. We love seeing you guys come back, asking great questions, giving us some great levels, and just sharing with the community. You know what it's all about here. But you know what you got to do? It is a new look. Market might be closed, but it's recap time. It's still at the desk. It's still with Mr. Katina, but joined by Adara. Go get him.
All right, what's up, everybody? And is my mic on? Yes, it is. What's up, Miss Adara?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
You ready to do this?
Yeah, I am. I'm excited to see how it goes. I'm very excited. I'm very eager to get
You
going.
may notice I may be a little different than Sharif.
Yeah.
No, I won't be talking about different bread types like Paneras and all that kind of stuff. You know, I'll call you by your first name. And we'll do things, I appreciate it as well. Great to have Adara here, so we're happy to go. Yeah, it should be a fun one. I just switched my symbol to D on here, which makes no sense because that's Dominion Energy. What I'm trying to do is get a daily chart here because we had a pretty good day overall. We had gold, though, Adara, down 2.4%. So that was something pretty interesting. And we are going to have up here a little rundown. We have the sector recap. If you're joining us for the first time, everything will basically be the exact same. Adara, if she's hearing any news or anything that breaks, will come through. She'll be watching the chat. We got Benzinga Pro. This show is sponsored by Benzinga Pro, so that should be really fun to get that going. And what a day it was today, starting with FXI up 1.7%. A little boring, generally speaking, with FXI, but a nice move upside as some of the Chinese names, including PDD, started to get going as well here today. That was a nice move. Gold downside, we talked about that. Gas upside. Some of the financials started to lead the way today as well. But it was really, I mean, look, XLK is here up 2%, up 1%. We were almost up 1.5% there. But it is nice as we zoom in a little bit. You see this? You see this? We finally have a green tick here on the daily chart. After a couple red days, we finally come back in. Now you're up in and around that 4 and change level. This is the Benzinga Pro. Now, I'm not logged in for some strange reason here right now, Adara, so I'm going to get logged in to Benzinga Pro. But has any of the earnings sort of dropped yet?
Yeah.
We're waiting for CLF. Yeah, what do you see?
Well, we got Cadence Designs. I don't know if
Okay.
this is a major one, but they just came in here. I'll pull up their chart so everybody can see this. Yeah, so big move down here on Cadence. We're going to find out what exactly happened here. I'll pull this up. on the Trade Ideas. Shout out to Michael Noss and the team over there at Trade Ideas.
Yeah.
Oh, I like the little mini symbol there. But yeah, so they
Wow, okay.
earnings per share and for sales here. They've raised their outlook, so I'm not seeing exactly what's moving cadence here to the downside. I'm not seeing anything particularly on this, but I will keep an eye out. If I see anything here, I will let you guys know. So far, though, it all seems like positive across the board in terms of both outlook and the actual numbers they delivered. Because usually if there's the move down and the numbers are positive, outlook might be bad. I'm not seeing that for cadence, but any other earnings, I'll let you guys know.
Good, good. Thank you, Ms. Adara. Here's a couple looks at some of the names that we had seen today. Today, the market recovered, man. It recovered greatly from that move there on Friday and into last week. Was a little dangerous. It's funny because we filmed that podcast on Wednesday talking about doom and gloom, and then it was followed by Thursday, bye-bye, Friday, bye-bye, but a nice little recovery today. Look at this board here. I mean, we don't really see too many names in the red. We have UNH there, we have Tesla as well, and Verizon. So a couple names that were moving around the market definitely recovered from a big day on Friday, with now today both the NASDAQ and the S&P 500 starting to go upside. And again, a lot of that was sponsored by our friend Nvidia. Nvidia today was up over 4% or near the end of the day there. We lost 211 billion, Adara, in market cap alone on Friday. That, quite frankly, is more than any market cap of a stock reporting today, and they lost that in one day. So as we go up, we do start to come back down. Today, China was nice. Tesla, though, with that full self-drive news, I mean, they dropped the price of full self-drive, what is it, 4,000? So from 12,000 down to 8,000. That's something there. With Tesla earnings on deck, I mean, we're starting to lose it, Adara, down to 140 and looking even lower. But guess what? Tomorrow, we get sponsored up by General Motors, so they're coming with an earnings play. And look at the difference in this one. I mean, I know when you first started trading, we probably didn't trade too much of GM and a lot of Tesla, but now GM is straight upside, coming with the report tomorrow, April 23rd, on the pre-market. So we'll have this, today's the 22nd.
Yeah.
So we'll get this tomorrow, Adara,
Oh.
and we'll see what happens with GM. I mean, you don't own a car, do you?
I do not drive at all.
But it would probably be an electric car if you chose.
I assume it would, yeah.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens here with GM making that move back up. But what's on deck this week, or even coming, Spotify, UPS, GM, Pepsi are all before the open. And then Tesla, Visa, and Enphase are all before the close tomorrow. So we'll just keep checking our Benzinga, and that's what it's all about. And look at the chat. Let's go a little love to the chat here. We do have Chris Varley coming, and this is a guy who hasn't had McDonald's in over 45 years. We talked about that last time, and no, it's not that long. I think it's like 20 years. When's the last time you had McDonald's?
I don't get it much. It was maybe like a couple months ago or something.
A couple months ago, yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a huge McDonald's.
Same. We'll get the coffees and stuff like that because the kids always want to get the fries, something like that. I like the coffee.
I like the coffee.
They got the coffee and muffin deal. It's like $3.
I like the muffins too. Yeah.
I like the muffins.
Yeah,
the
why
muffins.
not?
What is your my muffin would be Raisin Bran. I know that's not a popular choice.
See,
Where the hell's who said that?
who do you think said that?
Like people like this is the thing. Like I get in trouble for saying something and then I hear an ew in the background. That's fine. To each their own.
Yeah.
I don't know if that would be my favorite. You know what I like? The banana nut crunch is a good one.
Okay. Okay, I'm not a huge banana person. I don't mind Raisin Bran, but my favorite, if we're talking McDonald's, I like the cranberry orange.
Ooh, the cranberry orange.
I do like the way the oranges and cranberry dispersed.
That mixes well.
Yeah, I like it.
Adara, we have Cliffs out, it looks like. So Cliff, CLF, right now, 1.5 billion share repurchase program. That's coming into the building again. Let me just go over to a 1 minute chart and see what whoa. All right, so copper not doing the greatest right here. Here is the Benzinga Pro platform, of course. So we'll have this right here. Where's CLF? There it is right here. So we have adjusted EPS right now of 18 cents, missing 22. So that is a fail. We'll slap that on there with another red miss here. That's kind of cool about the Benzinga platform. It's just green or red. There's the miss again. But I like this, the 1.5 billion share repurchase program. Of course, we've seen that with many names. And Adara, what share repurchase means is that they don't know where they're going to put their money, so they're just going to buy back stock.
Yeah.
So they're going to lower the float that's out there, creating hopefully more value for shareholders that currently are in the name. So CLF with a nice push back in right there. What is it up on the year? So right here, down 1.04%. So just trying to hold on right now is CLF. And if we reverse it back in, we do have a nice bottom possible, but that doesn't happen until about $17 or $18. So right now, CLF is downside. That cadence, though, was the one that you brought to our attention. Look at this, down 8% now on the 1 minute chart. We'll flip it over. Big shout out to Trade Ideas. We will have Chris coming out for us soon. But look at this, a huge move down into 261, 263. Flip it over to a daily chart. And again, another software name, Adara, that continues to get hit. Earnings are going to be real exciting coming through this year. Yeah. So get ready. Like, I know you're trading right now live. You're going to see something in just a couple days. The market should be pretty wild. Are you excited?
Oh, I'm so excited. And I think especially, too, we have 4 of the Meg 7 names reporting this week. We have Tesla, we have Microsoft, we have Meta, we have Alphabet. And I think all of those alone are going to create some really exciting moments. And I'm excited to trade those and try trading them for the first time live because, of course, my approach is going to be a little bit different.
Right.
So exciting.
Right. Yeah, good. Okay, yeah, let's start hitting these live. For me, I don't prefer to trade them immediately on earnings, but we'll find some key levels. You know what was interesting? I have the roll call up here. I want to thank everybody for staying tuned with us again today. We have over 2,900 watching us right now as we go. Can't wait for my Raisin Bran muffin. Oh, by the way, Armin, what kind of socks you got on there? Those are like little fancy green socks there? Oh, they're just Argyle or checkered? All right, let's keep on going here. Oh, what about uranium? You want to share your screen? You want to share something? Is that what you're doing? Oh, you're talking
No, I was
about
just trying
that?
to figure out what happened.
Okay. I want to welcome Adara right now. Welcome. How's it going so far in this recap show?
It's been good. I'm happy to be here. I'm still getting used to it all, but thank you so much for having me. And hi, everybody.
Let us know in the chat here. This is the first time ever that I've had a co-host. Well, I think I've done it with Brendan maybe once.
Yeah, I think you and Brendan.
And I think Neil and Brendan hit it. On days I can't be here, Neil will be sitting here. But I mean, the good thing about this is, the more you're on air, the more we pay you. Maybe, was that my mic live there? No, okay, so that's good. So good job, Adara. We love that Adara's doing this as we go. Shout out to Miss A. Let us know in the chat. We think it's been a great advancement here. Okay, the one thing I want to talk about, and I tweeted something. Oh, I'm not logged. Oh, I am logged into Twitter. Haha. Sometimes I miss it. You sent this to me, Adara, which I thought was pretty neat. And it was the top performers from last week. So I think that when you're looking at this, and you're going to say last week we were down 5, down 6, down 2. This is Microsoft, Alphabet, Apple, Nvidia down 14%. Amazon getting absolutely clocked. These are all the big names. What we always want to look for is what was relatively strong.
Yeah.
You know, so we had Alphabet again, and relative just against its peers. So we had Alphabet only down 2% yesterday or last week. So when you're looking at what's happening today, you're going to see today we actually had Google to the upside.
Yeah.
So again, outperforming the market a little bit here today as Google just continues to march higher here on the 1 minute chart, taking back out to that 158 level, then dropping back in a little bit. So I like the levels here for Google. I think this is something that we'll look at. Earnings post-market on the 25th. And again, just on the daily chart, there's not too many of them that are still up top. Google, for me, is the most interesting name heading into earnings. And then the other name that I like would be Meta. I mean, this is getting ready to dump. I sold some of this. This is post-market Wednesday. So you think we're having a lot of fun now, Adara? Wednesday, we're going to be off the chains right here now. 474 for Meta. I'm a little nervous about that one. Have you been reading anything about any of these major tech names? What names we should be worried about?
Yeah, I mean, I think one thing I would just say for myself is I think Google could be a really interesting surprise because I think they have been, as you've said, it's really strong, and I feel like it's kind of been stealthy. We haven't talked a lot about Google. We don't talk a lot about Google, but I feel like Sundar Pichai and his team could be cooking something up.
There she goes. Oh, now you're name dropping? Now you're name dropping.
They had that AI fumble with Gemini, so I think they have a lot to prove, and I think this could be the opportunity for them to do so in that earnings call. But Microsoft, too, I would not underestimate that team. They have OpenAI. They have AI on lock there. So I think, and you know, last time their earnings call was pretty much a knockout. So I think that could be a really interesting move as well.
Okay, so a couple good names there. Thanks, Adara, for that. Yeah, no, I'm with you on all of that. When's the last time we saw a board like this? And I know for those of you that are joining, we've already sort of looked at this, but it was just real quick. I don't remember the last time, honestly, Sometimes when we get moves up, like, okay, NASDAQ will be up, but oil might be down, or the financials might be down. But today, it was like across the board, we had a lot of strength. And I look at something like Berkshire, up 0.1% again. It was strong last week. It held fort again. All these finance names, including, let's go over to the screen quickly, Ramin, if we can. Wells Fargo, American Express, JP Morgan, the big dog, Bank of America there. All the financials well up. And we actually had a pretty cool layout development here from Trade Ideas, whereby we can show all the different sectors.
I like that.
Look at the financial sector. Goldman Sachs, Capital One. They're all here and they're all huge and they're really nice. In the energy sector, Schlumberger to the downside, Halliburton as well. So a couple moves down there as I just look over and she's really interested. So that is fantastic. The Qs, the Spider, Burke B, XLK, IWM started going. I like the technology sector for IBB. So what that is, you ever looked at the IBB before?
No, I have not.
So that's biotech.
Oh, okay.
So a stock like Moderna, and look what's been happening to this on the daily chart. I think, hey, I don't know about you, Adara, I'm getting older every day.
Same.
So same, you are too?
Yeah,
Okay,
of
good,
course,
so it's
yeah.
not just me. Okay,
No, no.
I just look like I'm getting older. But the idea here is that, hey, as the population ages, I kind of like both the XLV on pushbacks down, so again, sector healthcare fund, right? And then the IBB, so then you get the Modernas and the Pfizers and the Eli Lillys of the world.
Yeah.
We know you like that one,
Ew.
but XLV, again, a nice push down. If you're looking for something other than tech, I would say diversify into something like this. Okay. You buy ETFs or no?
I do not, but it's something I have a financial advisor, so I have to run a lot through there. But yeah, next time I meet,
You
I
have a
definitely.
financial advisor?
I do. Yeah.
Why?
I don't know. It was I had the opportunity to kind of to meet with like
Okay.
around when I started here actually.
All right.
And then yeah, I just decided to kind
Fair.
of work with that for now.
Good,
Yeah,
okay.
it's been cool.
Yeah, if you ever need any advice, take it from a financial advisor, not from me. But I will help you if you do need that. But that's why I asked about ETFs.
Yeah.
Because I think that if I had your age and wisdom, you're welcome, I would be probably just averaging into the indexes.
Yeah,
Pick
that's-
one you like, pick one you like. Not
I like
financial advice, get your financial advisor. Pay the man his money or woman. Male or female, your financial advisor.
Female.
Wow, I like that, bang. Perfect. Same as mine, actually.
Oh, that's really cool. Okay.
Yeah. My wife.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah. Okay, but she's more about the outflows rather than the inflows.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So we'll manage that together.
Different kind of financial advice.
All right, without any further ado, we have our trader guest of the day. It's Trader Talk. Let's bring him in. Still using this? Hey, it's Mr. Chris Varley. How are you, my friend?
We're doing well. We're doing well. I'm just enjoying listening to this back and forth between you and Dara here. First off, most everything you've touched on are things that I would have discussed already. And
Okay, then we'll see you tomorrow. That was been Chris Varley for Trader. No, I'm just joking. Bang right there. I'm just playing around, Chris. Sorry about that. All right, no. Fantastic. Thank you for the nice words. And I'm really glad that Adara is, it's sounding good and we're having a lot of fun here. So just like you guys at Trade Ideas. I mean, Michael Noss throws SU. We had Steve Gomez earlier. Just keeps on coming and keeps on getting the big hitters. What did we talk about last week? Did you want to review any of those names potentially or anything you're looking at heading into earnings season right now?
the one thing that stood out to me today, I was cruising around different sectors.
Perfect.
And I was shocked when I looked and saw KBE was green on Friday, given the sell-off on the rest of the market. And you started mentioning the financials and the financial sectors layout that we had that you were going over.
Right.
I just found that kind of shocking. And looking tomorrow, Visa reports. So I have my eye on that for sure. Like everything else, it's had a bit of a pullback. Where do we find some safe havens here in this pullback? Again, we talked last week. It doesn't feel like there's a panic sell going on. It just feels very orderly in this pullback. And so, the strength after the pullback, these are the kind of things I was looking at. You mentioned some energy names before, and I happened to notice as well, the XOP, doesn't look bad right now,
Right.
to be honest. It's had this pullback, and then again, it was green Friday, green again today. I know we sold off into the close here, but even on this, a long-term look on it, and I know there's been a pullback in oil prices. I've still, I've got my eye on some energy plays as we go forward. I have a scan. I call it my evening scan. It's a homework scan essentially, and it's looking for stocks that are, the strongest over the last 20 days. There's some volume metrics with relative volume shares traded on that. And so, AR is a name that stood out to me today on that.
Okay.
And again, as we look back on that here, it just hasn't pulled back like a lot of the rest of the market. So those are some of the things that I was looking at and going around on the market today. It's reporting on the 24th here. So, keep that in mind after hours for that, if that was something that you were looking at.
Yeah.
But again, those are the things that I'm trying to do right now when we've had some of the weakness that we've had.
Shout out to 1320 Wolf here, wants us to talk about frozen orange juice, but we're not going to do that. You know what I was thought, Chris? You mentioned Visa, very interesting name. If you come over to my chart right here, we actually had American Express report last week and a nice bump up and taking out the daily, looking absolutely fantastic as we push it out into a weekly chart. I mean, again, like how good is this? We have like 3 or 4 red weeks, maybe in the last 20, AXP really, really performing well. But then I flip over to the name that you just mentioned. I think, great name to look at here. Look at Visa. Visa not doing anything really. I mean, it's nice. It's near the top, but we have pulled back from that 285, 300 high. And if I go into a daily chart, man, this pullback looks pretty good. We've now had, let's just say, that's 290 top, that back into 270. So just about little 8% or so pullback in. Is this something, Chris, a long-winded question, but will you look to Visa to the long side to play that because we had the beat from American Express? Or are we almost looking short because of how much of a laggard it's been against an AXP?
I just looking at the chart here and from the technicals, the way it started to break down, I look a little more short with it, to be honest.
Okay.
You start to see it take that step down on my multi-period low here. When we scale out here on, the picture-in-picture chart, it's just got this nice downtrend that started with it here. And, one of the old sayings for shorting, you never shorten the hole. This really isn't in the hole at this point, right? It's been an orderly pullback. You haven't seen anything really big. So I think this sets up a nice short opportunity. Now, with that said, of course, as always, if you see a bounce and you see it recapture around that 280, I'd flip that script really fast back to the other side, even looking, maybe up above that 275. It's not a dynamic mover like some other stocks that we might see, especially at this price range. A Tesla or something like that, where you're seeing massive dollar swings in a day. So, if it continues to break below this 270, below this 275 level, I like it short. If it could reclaim that 275 and move into that 280 area, I'd like it long. And I know, long-winded answer to that too.
Okay.
So are there any particular ways that you look for stocks or sectors differently when it comes to earnings season? So are you looking specifically for names with earnings coming up or names with a lot of sectors reporting earnings? So for example, we already had a lot of the bank earnings. Would that impact how you view those types of sectors? I guess just what I'm asking is how you look at for scanners for stocks and sectors during this earnings season.
So I won't hold through earnings. I usually like to wait about a day and a half to 2 days after earnings. And I do have a scan. I don't have it in the tree map form, but I'll bring it over and I have 2 versions of it here. And essentially it's, looking at stocks that are reporting today before and after the earnings. And I sort it on market cap. I just kind of like to look at it from the market cap side of things. And I do the same thing. It's reporting tomorrow before and after earnings. So I start to go through these and look at what's been relatively strong, what the sectors then look like, and come up with a list of ideas that are generated from that and how I may or may not want to play. And it, like a lot of traders, it becomes if-then scenarios. If we break down this way, then I look short that way. If we break out this way, then I look long this way, type of thing. I don't like to, when I'm swing trading, when I'm putting on swing positions, I don't like anything that gets too crazy or too volatile. I like that kind of slow and steady wins the race, especially when I'm looking to scale into something, maybe holding it for a week or 2 weeks like that. So, a name like Visa is very interesting to me. You actually mentioned before Pepsi. We've got that on deck for tomorrow after hours, I believe. Tomorrow pre-market, excuse me. So, Pepsi's another one that I like here. When we scale out, it hasn't really broken down off those highs too far, rejected off that 200 number. And I like it. If we can get back over this little area here that we're looking at, that 175, 180 area in there, again, I like that to the long side.
Chris, we don't have Nucor reporting yet, but when that comes, I'm going to drop that to let everybody know a little bit about Nucor. So I apologize if I have to flash on you for that. But right now, Netflix. I don't know. This is what honestly is making me a little bit nervous. I'll give you a second to call up Netflix. Let's come over to my screen just real quick. What's making me nervous is this. I drop an anchored VWAP down here from this October bottom. This is something that Brian Shannon himself has told me that we should be doing this. This anchored VWAP comes all the way now into $500. Netflix today, quite honestly, man, a little disappointing. We were pretty much red or flat on the day for Netflix in what was a raging market. We just showed you pretty much every single stock that you can name today was going to be green, but Netflix had a hard time getting back up to the upside. To me, this doesn't bode well for future earnings, especially in mega cap names. So, Netflix, are you worried about it losing potentially this 540 area? I mean, for me, I am. If tomorrow's down 1%, I feel like the fangs and the claws come out again and go nuts on Netflix back into the downside. And I reviewed their quarter. It's not actually that bad. So I'm surprised on Netflix here. What do you think about us holding this 540 area? To me, I'm a buyer down here at 500 and no earlier.
So it's funny, that anchored VWAP from Brian Shannon talking about the October lows lines up really nicely right now with that gap. I guess the end of January or so. And, there's this old saying, gaps are meant to be filled. That gap kind of looks like it wants to be filled to that 500 level. Again, does it get there? Everybody's guess is as good as the next person. But, it's funny. I don't much look at earnings reports. I just know when they're happening. I happened to look at Netflix the other day, and you're right. It wasn't a terrible report by any stretch of any imagination. And yet, for some reason, the sellers are really, really picking on it. And I think, tech stocks or entertainment stocks that are tech related are seeing a brunt of being picked on at this point. And you just wonder if it becomes self-fulfilling, that AVWAP and that gap fill.
So thanks for that. I'm with you, man. I think that when they line up like that gap is probably getting it filled back down into 500. What say you about a bear trap? So today, I guess, bull trap. We had to the upside move up there. We're going to be higher for longer. I think the Fed has sort of told us that. We may even get no cuts heading into the end of the year. I'm hoping for one. I don't know, Adara. I think we're on the same thing here. That we were thinking maybe one, possibly two as maximum for this year. So you know what I want to do when I look at the Qs like this and I see a little up day, I want to just fade tomorrow. I mean, I think when you get very violent red days down, and then although today was nice, I'm not going to hate on 1%, but we did give some back there into the close. What do you think that some of the bulls are just getting their hopes up with a day like today? Or what do you need to see in order to stamp along? Like, what needs to happen moving forward in the next couple days or weeks where you'll be feeling more comfortable that potentially the bottom's in?
So I would say first thing in order for stocks to go up is they got to stop going down. And today, while we had the 1%, we were green. It's an inside day today. We did it on much lighter volume than what we saw last Friday or last week in general. And so that's cautious, right? We talk about for CMT's confirmation and how, volume can be confirmation. If we had come out screaming and we rivaled, came close to the volume on the Qs on Friday, the same thing with Spire, any of these larger tech names that have really kind of held up the market and dragged the market along with it, I'd feel a lot different than I felt today. And again, I don't want to shorten the hole, right? Well, this for the bears and cautious for the bulls, this could be that opportunity where a short may just be lining up. And especially if we break below that 418 level early again tomorrow on the Qs, I'd be looking short on that as well. You've got that rounded look coming down from the top. Do I think there's some big crash coming? Nope. Do I think, the Fed is going to just come out and cut anything right away? Absolutely not. Do I think that they may cut by the end of the year? I think that's a very big possibility. They don't, they don't want to tank the market lower for, whatever reasons. They give you what their mandate is and inflation, employment, and so on and so forth. I don't think anybody could tell you that they're not looking at the market in some way, shape, or form. And while they haven't completely won this battle on inflation, I do think that they will look to do that towards the end of this year with a cut, believing that they've tackled the brunt of inflation at this point. But back to what you said before, I really think that you're right. The Q set up a nice look where we're not shorting in the hole here. We got a bit of a bounce day. Wasn't a strong or convincing bounce day, and I still feel like the sellers have their hands on the trigger. And that, to allude to something Steve mentioned earlier, I was watching you guys most on and off all day long.
Right.
He talked about the inverse ETFs, and you'll find that even a lot of bulls, they know that it doesn't go up forever, the realistic bulls, and playing those inverse ETFs may be something that folks want to look at. Cautious with it like anything as always, especially those leveraged ones, and you have decay and whatnot. But this may be setting up a nice scenario for it and a good way to hedge. If you're long, if you have real long positions, long-term positions, you don't want to see those red days in your portfolio making those red days. Something like the SQs, maybe something you want to look at. The SDS on the S&P, those are some items, some ideas that you could throw out there for looking to hedge.
We had my best trade of the day was right in the afternoon when I actually, just as you said there, I traded the TQQ. So I went triple, and I actually went short, and the market faded, and it turned out to be good. All right, putting you on the spot. I don't want a long-winded answer. I don't want anything. What I want is this. You're going to tell me which big tech name you think will be up after earnings. I won't hold it to you, but which name do you think will be up after earnings if you could choose one? We don't have to go over charts or anything. I just want to know the name. Gun to head, which one do we think is going up?
Meta.
Meta. Okay, I like Meta too. I think that's a good one. I think it's dangerous on the chart, but I do like the move forward on Meta. I think you might have nailed that one. Thank you so much. And where can they find you? On socials, just at Trade Ideas? I think I asked you this last week.
Both. You can hit me info@trade-ideas.com. Okay. I'm monitoring that email box like a hawk all times, and you can find me with my first initial and last name, so C Varley 1734 on Twitter.
1734. All right. Hey, even if we see Michael Noss again, we still want to have you back. So thank you so much, Chris Varley, for filling in. You've done an absolutely fantastic job, and promise us you'll come back.
I'm happy to do it. You guys let me know when you want me, and we'll arrange it and we'll work it out. I'd be more than thrilled to be back.
Thank you so much, Chris. That is Trader Talk. Have yourself a good one. Hey, we lasted the whole time. Thanks, Chris. See ya.
Take care, everyone.
Gun to head. What is this? Pulp Fiction. Actually, that is true. We were Pulp Fiction characters, as you remember.
Yeah, that was the year before I came, but I saw the photos of you and Neil as of Samuel L. Jackson and John Travolta.
Yeah, that was great.
That was a great
I shaved for that and everything. You got your Halloween costume ready to go yet? We've got a couple months away.
I have a couple ideas. I also can't believe it's only like 6 months away, but yeah, I have a couple ideas. We're still ruminating, thinking it over, but yeah, some ideas.
Okay. All right. Well, that was fast.
That was fast.
Yeah.
Flew by.
You want to talk about some tweets quickly? Okay, so just real quick. Let's just do this real quick. So, we talked about a couple things today. I didn't tweet out too much today. We were really trying to focus on, how about this? That's a new, maybe me and you got to be on this thumbnail.
Oh, yeah, I saw the new thumbnail for
Where's
today.
Fabian?
Yeah.
We got to show the new thumbnail, Fabian. I want to show the thumbnail. Where's the screen? There it is, this thumbnail right there. And then we had the top performers. I think that was pretty interesting. We had the sticky note today. We made a couple mistakes on Tesla, but we kept grinding with that one as that one continues to go. But the most important thing, here's the golf. So there's my kid. We went golfing on Friday. Thanks to Neil, yourself, and Brendan for filling in here. But we're back today, baby, with more and more action, and it's not going to stop. But you know what happens on this show? And I know that Sharif tries to do it as well.
Oh, I know what this is.
But this is the original. And we're not going to stop doing it, Adara.
Okay.
It's your roll call. All right. So today's roll call begins and ends with who's in the chat. We have over 2,100 people watching right now. We're super excited.
Yeah.
Because we got the best moderator. And right now, Kill Bill. You like Kill Bill? You seen that movie?
I have not seen Kill Bill.
What?
I know. I know, Fabian and Sean, I know.
All right. Well, let's say what's up to everybody. I don't know. No one's even, am I on the right stream here? All we've got is Bears versus Bulls here. This is going to be real easy right now. All right, what's up to Mo Fun? What's up to Pitchbull right now? What's up to Adrian is here. He says, Batman, excellent job, Adara.
Oh,
says
thank you.
Michelle Mira. I would think so too. That's fantastic. I mean, the more experience we get, the more we'll play off each other and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Not too many puns though this afternoon.
Yeah, I was trying to be more subdued for the first.
Good, I
first
like it.
appearance,
I
right?
like it. I
But
like
yeah,
it. I
we'll
like
see.
it. I like it a lot. All right, what's up? What's up to Matthias? What's up to BW? Traders up to Chef Joe. Oh, here we go. All right, great show. Mauricio's coming out. Mary's here. Hugh is here. Harry's here. Matthias. Dominica is here. Dominica is here. Bigley down under. All right, well, that's it. Not too many earnings.
Yeah.
We had CDNS, that was pretty disastrous. We saw that one. We saw Cliffs go to the downside. But that's it. This is a calm show.
Yeah.
But tomorrow, we get going. All right, we'll figure out something to do. But for now, we'll do this. We'll fist bump. It's Adara, and it's Sean. You can follow us all on socials. What are your socials, Bio? Are you on Twitter yet? I saw you on Instagram.
I have Instagram. I need to get my Twitter account, but my Instagram account is tradertv.live, and I will often post selfies with myself with tea before the midday show or the How to Trade, which you can check out.
Selfies with tea?
Yeah, I just take
Oh,
a tea,
good.
take
Okay.
a selfie, and I'm like, check it out.
Good.
I don't know, it's my niche.
That's fun. What is your preference on a tea?
Peppermint.
Peppermint tea.
Yeah, a little boring,
That's not
Yeah.
boring. I don't mind peppermint.
I appreciate that.
It gets you going.
Yeah, it gives like a little like.
Because I talked to Adara, or not Adara, you're Adara. Hey Adara, how's
Hi.
it going? I talked to Ramin the other day, and she gave me some nice black tea from India. That
Black
was
tea's good.
really good. That was really tasty. All right, we're done. Thank you so much for watching, and this is the new recap show. I hope you enjoyed it. But let's go to the double screen so we can both wave goodbye. So for everybody here, oh, we're doing this. Okay, so you got to look there. Which one do you want to do, Fabian? Let's do this one. For everybody here at Trader TV Live, that's Miss A. I am Sean, and we will see you tomorrow bright and early at 8:30. Thanks, Adara.
Thank you.
Ciao. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks, everybody.